Shows up. So, good evening, Hammers. Good evening from the United States of America. Once again, the most successful country in the world in the Olympics, and also a country that won its continental football competition this season. Although I was, to be honest, I was crushed that England lost. I was supporting. I watched a lot more of it than the U.S. Anyway, yeah. Once again, it's West Ham. It's Tim. What's it? American Average TV. It's been so long I forgot the name. American Average TV, part of the American Average Network. We're really glad you're here. We used to do this show, as you know, on Wednesday nights. During the past season, we were on every Wednesday night at 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to try Sundays at 6 now, okay? So that we can get people out of the UK like James on at a reasonable hour. They're not having to stay up until the middle of the night. And so that everybody can watch at a reasonable hour. And also, the idea is we do this from 6 to 8 ish. And then once the American football season starts, in a couple of weeks, several weeks, whenever it is, you can watch your Sunday night football. So you get West Ham on Sunday night, and then you can go all the Yanks. You can go all watch, your Sunday night football after that, because that's literally the number one show in the United States, Sunday night football. So we're not trying to, compete with that. So you get two footballs. You get proper football, and then you get American football, and it's like 5-6 hours of pure sport entertainment.
Ecstasy.
That's really hard to beat. It's really hard to beat. It is really hard to beat. I see the chat room is filling in. We're glad to have you here. What do I usually say? What do I say? Well, we have stuff that we sell. If you want to buy stuff from us, American Hammers TV stuff, some West Ham stuff, all kinds of stuff. Check out ahtv.threadless.com. All right. Don't go to the website I usually mention because we're working on it. Okay. But ahtv.threadless.com has a bunch of cool stuff. You can even buy. We still have scarves, American Hammers TV scarves you can buy if you want one of those. Proper colors and everything. We got rid of the Houston Orla ones. We got proper colored scarves. But we've got West Ham stuff. We've got stuff like the flag back here, which I actually really like that. I put it over my Boston Bruins 2011 Stanley Cup photo. That's how much I like it. Yeah, we got all kinds of stuff. Tim has told me that many of you have reached out to us about being on the show, being on the network, and this is fantastic. All right, I love it because I've been saying for months now, if you want to be on the show, come tell us about it, and you did, and this is great. And so we will get you on the network. Okay, Katie does a show every Thursday. I don't know if she's starting this week or not, but she'll be doing it soon. Katie does a show every Thursday where she interviews a West Ham fan. We're going to get people worked into that. We'll get people worked into the rotation here on Sunday afternoons. We're going to have some other stuff come around. So, and I see we've got a huge crowd in the chat room already. So you guys, get ready, study up, and be ready to be on the network with us. We're going to try to put on many, many hours of entertainment, as many as we can over the course of the season. So we're glad you're here for that. I don't think there's any of the normal stuff I have for you, but I did want to say that if you guys have followed if you've stayed abreast of our transfer window, you realize we've signed a keeper. Okay, we've signed a keeper, and I think there was, if you've stayed abreast, and I think there was some concern that he was nursing an injury. But that doesn't actually seem to be true. All right, that doesn't seem to be true. But I think he's I think he'll be a real standout for us, especially in the cold weather games. A real standout for us. So I say, whoever signed our keeper, to you I say, bravo. Those were all boob references. Those were all boob references. Okay, because we signed a keeper named Areola, who's got one of the greatest names in football, and between the goalkeeper shirt this season, which looks really nice, and getting Areola on the back, that may have to happen, is all I'm saying. Anyway, who do we have with us tonight? The founder of American Hammers TV, my neighbor from about 2 miles down the road, wearing his Dodgers shirt. It's Tim. How you doing, Tim?
I'm having tech issues, so I'm gonna have to leave, and I'll be back. But
okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So we can go
start.
back. So
good start. all right. You
Ciao.
Come back when you're ready, or you come back when you're ready. We got some other people that drop in on us too if they're awake and alive. So we'll see. We'll see if they feel like it. Our proper Cockney from East London, our frequent guest on the show. It's James. How you doing, James?
All good, mate. All good.
Good. And representing the fine city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the city on the three rivers, the Monongahela, and two others. It's Lucas. How you doing, Lucas?
I'm good. I'm not as happy as James after watching Ben Rama play the other day, but I'm feeling fantastic.
Well, you know what? It's I'm glad you mentioned that because there's a lot of stuff we have to talk about. All right, we have to get to this Pi Capital thing. All right, at some point, okay, because I think that's the biggest story going around West Ham right now is the proposed takeover by these mysterious Pi Capital people. But why don't we start since there's been virtually no activity in the transfer window, as we know. Let's start with preseason. I mean, other than not signing players and having once again a bare squad, I thought we looked pretty good. what were your impressions? Who has stood out for you? Which performances have stood out? How do you feel going into Newcastle?
I want James to go first. I think he deserves the floor.
Take the floor.
I think we've been all right. Don't get me wrong. Like I think we've been pretty decent. Like the team morale looks good. Everyone looks better. Everyone looks like they've improved a bit more this season. Fornals, Ben Rama, etc. But the problem is with pre-season is we can't get excited about pre-season because it is only pre-season. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't. We've played well, but the real test will be Sunday, next Sunday, and when we go to Newcastle, we will know if we've been blagging it or we are the real deal this year. I've liked Ben Rama from minute one, and I've always said that, and he's standing out for me in this pre-season, along with a few others. So, I'm looking forward to the new season. But, pre-season has been good. And it's also been good for all the players coming back, like Souček, Rice, Kafel, etc. I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, to me, there's been really three stories over the close season, outside of the Euro, obviously, which the general lack of activity in the transfer window, which I don't think surprises anybody, the Pi Capital thing, which is a whole different thing altogether, and then what have looked like really good, solid preseason performances. And I know, James, you're absolutely right. It doesn't mean anything. We all know that, but. I mean, it was a workmanlike, solid performance against Brentford. It was a good performance against an Atalanta team that has some talent. That's a good Italian team.
Champions League.
Right, exactly. They've made some runs in Champions League too. And I know it's it's Betway Cup, which is the world's most prestigious trophy, of course. So we really could just quit the season now because we've already won the biggest trophy there is to win. But no, I know it's preseason. But I mean, generally everybody who should look good looks good. Ben Rama has looked fantastic. Right now, Antonio looks, on top of his game and healthy. You have to think that going into the middle of August, squad-wise, we're in good shape. I don't know, Lucas, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I've really enjoyed the preseason, haven't lost, which has been nice. Everyone looks just as advertised per usual. Ben Rama's been really fun to watch. I'm not gonna say I've been OG Ben Rama like James, but I've always been on his side. I just think he either needed the chance or just a little extra push. And now that I think he almost, for now, pending the rest of the window, but right now he's got the keys, and I want him to keep driving.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because what have we seen just today, just on Twitter today? I'm starting to see the name Jesse Lingard get floated around again, and I think that's just Twitter rumors. I really don't believe. I think he's gone. I think he's made his decision, and I'm actually okay with it.
I've shut it off.
I'm at peace with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then there is the question of, if we did manage to go for Lingard, what does that do with Ben Rama? Who would you rather have? I mean, I know it's kind of a weird question to ask. By the way, welcome to Tom.
Affers is here. I'll see the comments, Affers. I'll get to you in a minute.
From Hammers Chat. From Hammers Chat. He's here. He's dropped in. So we have
How are we?
We have balance between the continents. We have which is good.
2v2.
Yeah, that's right. And
2v2.
exactly. Although in hair and beard game, I'm afraid y'all are way behind.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you got to.
James is
do a little bit
putting
better
a poor
than that.
showing.
You got to do a
James
little
is
bit
putting
better.
a poor showing.
Yeah, you got to do better than that. But all right, so we were just talking, Tom, about our current squad, and you've seen these rumors going around about Jesse Lingard again. I cannot imagine him coming to West Ham at this point, Tom. Can you?
I could. On pre-season, I will say I agree completely with James there. Never get hyped about a pre-season because the season, I think we went down last time. We won all our games in pre-season and then we went down at the end of it. So pinch of salt for pre-season, whether we win or lose. But I can still see him coming. There's a part of me that thinks I can still see. I know he's a Man United boy at heart. I know people get attached to that. But David Moyes equally just absolutely loves him. And I think he has the ability to play in that false nine. And that was obviously a system that sort of worked quite well as well. When he came towards the end of the season, if Antonio was away or injured or, didn't play the full 90, Jesse slotted into that number 9 role. So I wouldn't be against it. But I think it's been annoying me this evening on Twitter because I know most of it's football Twitter accounts and, you don't get into arguments with the young boys that want to talk about it. But some of the people saying that they don't want Lingard because of Benrahma.
That's what we're just talking about.
Ridiculous.
I don't quite understand it.
No, you don't. I agree. Lingard, I think, and I agree with Tom on this one, yeah. I think it's going to go all the way to the last day of the window. And I think if once Man United put their 25-man squad in and he ain't in it, which I've always called it, if he's not in that 25-man squad, then he's going to have to go. And basically, I'm not really worried about him coming. I'm more worried about our owners paying the money. That's what I'm more worried about. If United say 20 million, our owners are probably going at 10. So it's just, it's one of them ones. You know what I mean? But yeah, I see a lot of that. One without the other. Listen, I rated Benrahma last year, as everyone knows, right, with Lingard, and I want to see the pair of them together this year for a full season, because when they are together with Bowen, them three, they're a good front three with Antonio up front. And I know, Tom's laughing because he knows full well I backed him all last season. But let's be honest here, as West Ham fans, that front four was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and that's the best front four I've seen at West Ham for many years. Do you know what I mean? So
I think that's the thing. There's that consistency and continuity at the minute between those players, and they have had half a season together. They all seem to get the best out of each other. That dressing room's on an absolute high at the minute. It's for me, it was the no-brainer of the window to try and go back in for him. And I think, as James said there, obviously he'll be included in the squad, but I can't see how he gets ahead of Rashford, of Sancho, of Greenwood, Cavani, Martial. Maybe Martial at the moment because he's obviously not on top form. But even as far as the midfielders go, like Bruno, and at least with us, he's got guaranteed minutes. And for the fact that he is David Moyes' love child.
Is he guaranteed in the squad though, Tom?
I honestly think he is. Yeah, 100%. I mean, especially after last season.
I would say so.
Yeah, I think he is too. But that's again. I mean, what I'm seeing is a lot of people saying, "Well, if we bring in, Lingard," which you guys seem more, positive about that happening than I would have been. Then it's going to hurt Benrahma's development. Was it ever choose Benrahma? There's a little bit of a ripple right now of do you want Benrahma or do you want Lingard? Because it doesn't seem as though both are going to play in the same team.
No, but you do have obviously that. I think at least with the Champions League, you sometimes you'll have that extra day. But seeing as it's usually the Thursday Sunday, I know David Moyes is you can't teach an old dog new tricks in terms of he doesn't often rotate his squad when he has his 11. But I don't think even he is as much of an idiot as to not, especially because you get back the Carabao Cup third round is 2 weeks after we get back. It's straight into that. Europa League is straight after that. Yeah. There is between now and New Year, especially when you have the FA Cup game that first weekend or first week in the new year. Between now and then, our fixture list is just going to be crammed. So
he's only going to benefit our team, Lingard.
Of course it is.
At the end of the day, and I think for the value that he is, if we get him out of Manchester for 20 million, I think that's a bargain. In my opinion,
keeps Declan Rice happy as well. Don't forget.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
sweetener on the deal.
It keeps the team morale how it was. The thing is with it though, if someone said to me right now, would you rather go and get Lingard or would you rather go and get a striker? I know what I'm going to go and get. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a striker is more. I want to see a man come through the door. He hasn't got to be 40, 50 million, but I want a proper striker. Antonio's good, but he's not. Let's be honest. He scored 10 goals last season. He should have had 20. The amount of chances
he was only fit for 25, 26 games.
That's what I'm saying.
He cannot play 38 games in the Premier League.
No way.
We know that. He cannot. And you need to look at the Europa League, any kind of cup runs. The guy gets.
It's nice, isn't it? Sorry, I see Charlie's comment.
By the way,
oh, it's beautiful.
That is nice. By the way, Tom. No, it'll never fit me because of the collar. All right, I can't. It's my neck is too thick and fat.
I just keep rubbing it. Because it's felt as well. It's like the old shirts. It's felt. It's so beautiful.
I'm thinking I might get a third shirt with the patch.
Do you know what? James will like this.
The away shirt unsponsored is beautiful too.
I'm buying the third shirt with SB22 on the back and the Europa
I was
League
literally going to do that.
So Affers, are you convinced now that Ben
I'm
was the
not
man?
convinced. No, hang on a minute. I remember we were discussing that Wolves away game last season, and I know you were like, "Oh, I think Ben Rama should start." I've backed him since day one. I think he's an absolute baller.
Yeah.
I love him in the Championship. Not as much as you. I haven't got within restraining order of Ben Rama. But
Not yet. Affers,
OG national defense.
Yeah,
Ben Rama.
But
mate, if he scores 10 goals, 15 goals this season, mate, I'm like, he could have my missus.
I think honestly, he's a crowd pleaser, and I think having the player like that, he feeds off the crowd's energy. He likes the tricks, the flicks. I think now we've got crowds coming back in, and he can start to showcase a bit of that. I think we're going to see the absolute best of him, and it is difficult, but it's also a great position to be in that we can have that. Should it be Lingard this week? Should it be Fornals? Should it be Ben Rama? And at least having that talent coming off the bench as well, I think it's a great position to be in if we can start to get some of these names through the door, because then at least in the day we've got people that we can rely on, not having to turn to youth. I even think the likes of Yarmolenko is going to do really well in Europa League this season. I know that's a wild opinion. I nearly put it on Twitter earlier, but I think players like that on the biggest stage, and especially you need some players that are playing in that competition before.
So
I think we've got to be aiming higher, though, haven't we?
You think Yarmolenko stays?
I do. I honestly
thought he had a very solid game last game, except for that cross that he didn't put in with his right foot. Besides that, I thought he was decent.
I just think
the thing is, we've got to be aiming higher, don't we? We've got to be aiming higher than Yarmolenko. Don't get me wrong, and I'm going to say this, with Ben Rama last year, everyone was hit and miss with him. Right, but I believe, this is what I personally believe, they thought they had the second coming of Dimitri Payet. And everyone thought, he's going to be like Payet. He's just going to come in.
That over and over too. That's not.
Do you know
fair
what I mean?
Never fair.
And it ain't fair to a geezer, and we're trying to rely on him to come on and save games for us when he's not Dimitri Payet. He's Ben Rama.
And Payet was lightning in a bottle at West Ham. Even Dimitri Payet is not Dimitri Payet anymore. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, no, he did it tonight.
He had a brace today.
I know he did. I know he had a brace, but I'm just saying. He does not control and take over games the way he used to. All right, and let's be honest. These days he's in League, which I mean, it's not. It's just not the same quality. We know
it ain't that. It's like
there's that team in Paris, Lee. What was it called?
Yeah, well, the team in Paris is. I mean, I don't know. How do you explain this? It's like the New York Yankees of the 1950s, right?
How do you pronounce it again? It's been a while. How do you pronounce?
Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain. That's the full name.
But the shortened name, the three
full
letters.
Name. Anyway, you mean
loads of money?
You mean where we got Areola from? Where we got it? Yeah. That they are. Well, anyway, I really, really want them to fail at winning Champions League now. I don't care who wins it. I almost don't care who wins it, as long as it's not the big club in Paris, because it's outrageous. First of all, I'm sorry, they're owned by the very worst of the regimes in that part of the world. The Qataris are the absolute worst. They are. In terms of human rights, they just are. But beyond that, this is crazy now. Come on. Mbappe, Messi, Sergio Ramos. This is insane. This is nuts. I just want them to fail. Sorry, but I do.
No ambition in that league.
Well, I mean, listen, they walk into this. They're playing in this. They couldn't even win the league last season. I don't mean to talk about the whole time. They couldn't even win the league last season.
And he's off. Let's go.
With with probably the most expensive team in the world, they lost to friggin' Lille, which is a little industrial city in the north of France. All right, it's known for very lovely people, but there's not much to it. Okay, and
Pittsburgh or France.
kind of, yeah, in a way, it's true. Or Cleveland, maybe. Although Pittsburgh these days is really nice, so Pittsburgh is a lot better. But yeah, it's a little bit Clevelandish, or Buffalo. It's maybe Buffalo. Anyway, the point being, I don't know what this would be in England, like Bradford maybe or something. Point being, Lille, pipped him to the title, and then you're gonna be here for a long time, Rebecca, a real long time. You just get comfortable. Anyway, I just want them to fail. But let me just say this about Payet. We all know that he has days when he's very good, but he's not what he was when he was with us. He was never that before, and he never will be again. He was lightning in a bottle at West Ham. It was a magical time that didn't last and couldn't last. And yes, going back all the way back to what we were talking about before. Before Benrahma, it was Diangana. Remember, it was great at Diangana, and then Sullivan sold him out from under everybody. And
I just think he was unfairly treated, though, Lee. If I'm honest,
he was unfairly treated.
Yeah,
totally
like Benrahma last season, and not being funny enough, and I have a laugh with Effers and everything, and we have that little bit of banter on the side, mate. But in all seriousness, like Benrahma was getting criticised for crossing the ball in wrong. And
Yes.
I've seen many players over the years
After playing 15 minutes.
Right.
Ryan Fredericks being one of them who can run fast but can't defend, and people are saying that he should be our next right winger. So some of it is like very unjust, but I do think that if we play him as a number 10 and we have players around him of good ability, then he will assist goals all season for us.
Oh, I thought he had a good season last season. I thought he was a good player. I mean, oddly enough,
his assists to game ratio last year was fantastic for the amount of minutes he played.
Everybody freaked out about 1 year ago. Right about 1 year ago when we sold Diangana. Sullivan sold him out from under everybody. I was included. I freaked out too. I thought it affected the team. I thought we went into our opening match, oddly enough, against Newcastle, not at full strength. But then, as you said, James, deflecting a lot of criticism. Benrahma came in. He had a very good season. I know he only scored one goal, but he was very solid. When he had opportunities, I thought he played well. And as you said, the expectations for him were unreasonably high because we don't sign many players, right? And we do sign a player, we think he's going to be the next Maradona or the next, Messi or Puskás or whatever, right? That's the way it is because we sign like 3 guys in a window. So we get so excited about him, and we don't stop and think, hey, you know what? He came from the championship. He needs.
I think what it was
develop.
In all seriousness, I think what it was. We signed Souček in the January, like he come on, hit the ground running, was a big hit. Yeah, we signed Kufal.
Soufal same way, yeah.
Yeah, he come in, hit the ground running. Benrahma was hit and miss to some people. And basically, I think this year's his breakout year. The only thing that disappoints me, though, is the lack of signings. It ain't so much the players that we've got there. It's the lack of ambition.
It's massively disappointing.
Which has irritated me.
Listen, I know we've looked good in preseason. As you say, that doesn't really mean a lot. But it's better look good than bad. But how on earth are we going to play in 4 competitions? I mean, I realize we'll go out of the cup competitions early because we always do. The domestic cups, but
play will not be the word. We will be. I don't even know what the word is because we're not going to be at full fitness at all.
How are we going to handle Europa League and Premier League if our only striker is Mikel Antonio? And I love Mikel Antonio, but he's got hamstrings made of pudding. We all know that. Everybody knows this. It's not every time I watch him run, I just think, take it easy. You know what I mean? Don't hurt yourself because he limps all the time.
Which you can't tell a player like him to just take it easy.
That's the whole thing. Yeah. He's 100% all the time, all out. And that's what I love about it. I love
the thing is, though, Lee. The thing is, when the moment I knew that we weren't going to get a top striker at the club was when Antonio took the number 9 shirt. Because
of course, it was obvious.
When you sign players of top quality and they're a striker, they want to be the number 9. It's the old way of looking at it. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, you might have other players, but the number 9 shirt is the centre striker role.
It's a big pull for some players. It's a big deal. Well.
Yeah, and I can't see the moment he took that number 9 shirt. To me, I thought backup striker straight away. He's the main man. He goes down. We're going to bring a backup in to cover him. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's not good enough.
We've been linked with the Tammy Abraham thing seems to have died, which is a shame because I would have loved to have him. He was my first choice. Who else? I mean, there's this guy from Turkey now. I don't think he's Turkish, but he played in the Turkish league last season. Don't remember his name. We've been linked with him.
There's about 10 of them.
I was going to say there's more than I can remember. And half of
one thing that pisses me off about the Abraham thing is because you do have, I won't hold back, but the club's mouthpiece with Claret and Hugh was saying, it's going to be difficult because Abraham was going to be on $8,000 a week, and we're going to match that. And all of a sudden, it's popped up to 140, and it's like, which one is it? There's never any consistency with what they say, and then what actually happens. So, for me personally, I thought the right choice was Tammy Abraham. Of all of them, I think I'm disappointed because he's proven in the Prem. He scores goals.
Yes,
he's done it in England, which is the main thing for me. I would rather put the money down on someone like that than go, especially with the position we're in. We're not a club that can afford, I don't think, any more with the way the last few signings. Exactly, but the way the last few signings have turned out, as much as I wanted Allaire to succeed, we can't be spending 45 million on unproven Premier League players. We need somebody that's going to hit the ground running.
And every team that Tammy Abraham's been on it first year,
but the problem is with
scored 10 or more goals.
Yeah. The problem is with it, a lot of people are saying, well, we ain't got to spend big money to get like good players in. Look at Kafal, look at Souček. I understand that, but you can't keep blagging it and thinking that you're going to, every time you sign a player, he's going to hit the ground like them two.
That's gambling.
It is. And you are right. You're hoping that when you sign them players for cheap, that they're going to hit the ground running. Like at the end of the day, the striker's the most important player on the pitch because he scores the goals that wins your games. And Tammy Abraham, I agree with Athers on this one. Yeah, Abraham would have been the main man. Like his ideal replacement for Antonio. If Brentford didn't go up,
proven talent.
I would have had Ivan Toney myself, but obviously where Brentford have gone up, he ain't going to go. But
would you spend the 40 million on him though?
He guarantees you 10, 15 goals a season, Lucas, mate. And to me, that's good enough. Like,
I agree.
How old is he? 23, 24? So he's got time on his side and all. He's only going to get better.
He's not injury prone either.
He's not injury prone. He knows the league, like Afa said. He was Chelsea's top goal scorer last season. He only played half the game.
That's the mad thing, really.
So it's no-brainer.
I think I would break our transfer record for Tammy Abraham, which is not a lot of money for a striker, by the way. It's like 48 million, 45 million, something like that. If we were going to spend the Allaire kind of money, I would spend it on Tammy Abraham. And it's the only striker we've been linked with I would be confident in spending that kind of money on because he's done it in the Premier League.
Sort of notoriety. I mean, my God.
Right. He's done it in the Premier League. I mean, and nobody else we're looking at has. I mean, he's the one guy I would say, you break the bank on this guy. I think he's totally worth it. I don't think it seems to have totally cooled into it's gone now. So I don't know if that's, if that's going to happen or not, but I can see us, I could see us reaching into the championship for a striker. I can see us going to some place like Belgium or Turkey, we've been linked with a guy
David Sullivan special.
Right, a David Sullivan special. We'll ever Will Salt.
We're just so fucking dead when it comes to strikers. Like it's pulling fucking teeth.
Who was the last really great West Ham striker who was, consistently good for more than a season?
Well, the best striker that we actually signed in his who was playing well at the time was Carroll. We signed Carroll from Liverpool,
right?
And he come in, and he was like the main.
He was injured all the time. I mean,
he was injured towards the end, but when he was signed, he was like he'd been at Liverpool, and he comes to West Ham, and he done that. Like
that was how many years ago? That was like 10 years ago. Must be close to it by now.
No, it weren't 10 today. But now.
Was it not? Well, I don't know.
10 years ago, about 6 of it.
But it's got to be 6.
I mean, you said more than one season. I would have gone for Carlos Tevez, but I won't do that on here.
Well, I mean, my point is,
Yeah, I was going to say late 90s, early 2000s.
I mean, Dean Ashton, who had a terrible injury that ended his career. You can.
Well, the fact that our top Premier League goal scorer is 50 goals or 51 goals, and not even that. It's not even reached 50, and the fact that the converted right back is nearly there shows you that we've not had a proper striker since McAvenny and Tony Cottee.
And we have signed Ayew and Cagliari, and we've signed.
Well, in the Golden Sullivan era, it's over 40 strikers now that we've signed.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and they've almost all failed.
I think they're totally scared of signing strikers because they're so bad at it. They want to try and
strikers
sign
cost
wingers.
money. That's why strikers cost money.
Yes.
They keep wanting to sign wingers for some reason. Like I keep seeing links with like Traore and people like this, and I'm thinking we need a striker, mate. Like Traore's fast, yeah, he can beat people, he's strong.
It's so
right?
fucking annoying.
But he don't score. He don't score many goals, and last 18 months at Wolves, he's been absolutely dreadful. So.
I don't think he scored it all last season, did he? Did he score it all last season, Traore? I thought
got
he had
one right in the last game, or one at the end of the season,
So, I mean, yeah. Not a very... yes, West Ham Pie Edition, because we're going to talk about Pie Capital here before too long. That's why I so cleverly put pie in the title of the show today. I'm glad you noticed that, actually. Anyway.
I thought he was calling us all fat for a second. I didn't think it was actually to do with...
No, I ate all the pies. I just got back from a week's vacation where I really did eat all the pies, though.
We eating good over here, boys.
We're not over here.
No, we're it's all. This is America, man. You know how we do. We fry everything. Yeah, it's all. It's all.
We're being confined to holidays in the English countryside. It's not
deserted island.
Nice.
I'm good for a month. If you were to roast me, I'm good for a month.
Even my dad, who goes to Portugal religiously every single year, had to opt for a summer away in the English countryside. And for a country so small, but we don't do that. We don't. I know there's so many great places to visit over there in this country, but yeah, we just don't do it.
I know. Charlie's not coming, Rebecca. Charlie Boy. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know if he's coming on or not. Charlie Walsh was going to be here tonight, but the poor guy's sick.
No.
Spare a thought for Charlie. He went to bed. He went to bed like in the evening. He usually goes to bed like in the middle of the morning. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for being on, Rebecca. It was good to see you. Good to talk to you. Good to hear from you. Yeah. No, I mean, obviously this is funny because let me go back up here a minute to. Kostya's got a list of players he thinks we're going to sign, and we might. Milinkovic, Origi, Camera. I don't know who Espuña is. Who is that?
He spelled it wrong. I'll let you off, Kostya. Stupinian.
Well, I still don't know who that is. But okay.
Left back.
Left back. So the Milinkovic thing is he's going to win the Carlos Baca Award for 2021.
Oh, stop, please. I'm already convinced. Don't do it.
No, I mean the more I see about how he's going to sign within minutes, the more I think he's never going to.
And we need more Slavic players. We can't have enough.
Well, you're one of those Slavic guys, aren't you? Aren't you like some sort of
Croatia?
You're Croatian,
I'll take all the Slavic guys I can get.
You and the other guy on Twitter, there, Stampar on Twitter. He's a big Slavic guy. Do you know him?
Yeah, because him and what's his face, Scott. They buy all of the shirts from every random country.
Right, from all the former Yugoslavia. Do you know the Stampar guy, Lucas? Do you know him?
I don't know him. I would say we're friends.
Do all Slavs know each other? That's what I'm asking.
We're all brothers.
Okay. All people of Slavic origin know each other?
Yeah, because we're all brothers. Right. We might as well be blood. He might as well be a first cousin.
Do you have meetings like black people all have meetings where they get together and meet with each other?
Jesus,
and we don't. The rest of us don't know. That's why Sully couldn't be here tonight. By the way, he had a black person's meeting.
Seriously.
Right? Yeah, he can't talk about it on the air, but we know that's what it is.
See, but we publicly meet at least twice a week.
I meet with all long-haired, bearded men in their 40s. That's a big meeting.
After that comment, it sounds like you're meeting up with a KKK every week, Lee.
Well, I wouldn't call it that. No, come on, you know me. I love all people, especially people who support West Ham. Anyway, now I totally forgot what we were talking. Oh yeah. So back to this list. There's been a lot of excitement about Milinkovic. Don't we have 3 relatively competent center backs?
He's quality. I'm not saying this because he's Slavic, but he's actually quality. He's a good player.
But why are we? I mean, it feels as though that's the one area of the pitch where we're like, relatively stable. You know?
Aging.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but we're getting our best guys are old.
Well, I know, but they can be old enough. Okay, wait a minute. Now trouble has arrived. All right, trouble is on the scene.
Does it come in the form from
Trouble is on the scene.
Hey, Lee, what are you stereotyping people already? First show of the season already. This guy.
Charlie had an Italian guys from Brooklyn meeting that he had to go to.
Oh, here he goes.
Before he could come here, so that's why he's a little bit late. Italian guys from Brooklyn meeting.
You're trying to get me hit with the Rico Act. Calm down.
It has the best food. It has the best food of all the ethnic meetings. All right, it does.
That's true.
If you guys ever watch The Sopranos, every time I watch The Sopranos, afterwards I had to go order like from the Italian place around the corner because they were always, with the pasta and everything, starving after I watched Sopranos. Watching Tony shovel that food, it was amazing. So anyway, yeah, I gotta have that. How you doing, Charlie boy? What's going on?
Hey, listen, I'm doing good. This is my new vibes, Korean tea, baby.
All right, what is Korean tea? What is that a metaphor for? What is that? What is it?
No, it's real ginseng tea. I don't know.
Oh, it's actual Korean tea. I thought maybe it was.
Real G's.
Something I'm too old to have heard of.
Hey, listen, out there, we give some of this to Yarmo. He's gonna start running quick. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna get in the box.
It's hope he runs quick to the airport.
Yarmo he'd be slow in a Lamborghini, Charlie. Let's face it. That guy would be slow in the Concorde. That guy, there's nothing to make that guy fast.
My hero crashed one.
Everybody watched him in the Euro and thought he was so great until they played England, and he looked the way he looks in the Premier League, which was slow and off the pace. I mean,
oh no, listen, hang on. If somebody said that the Ukraine was in danger, he'd run for that. He only runs for the Ukraine.
Apparently, that's true.
I don't understand it.
He should have run faster to Crimea then, because
Didn't
save him there, did he, Yarmo? Yeah. What's wrong? Yeah, I was telling you.
And just so everyone knows, this is a White Sox jersey, but I'm representing Michael Jordan. It's a Michael Jordan baseball joint, so don't think I'm a White Sox fan.
I was going to ask about that.
I did see that. I did see the yes.
I know. I seen the eyes. So
there's no way you're a White Sox fan. There's no way.
No. Not even.
Are you a Yankee fan?
Oh, Jesus. Here we go. No, I'm not. Yankees are Bronx. Listen.
Are you a Mets fan?
He's a Met fan?
Mets fans are from Queens.
He's Dodgers.
Are you a Dodgers fan still?
Yeah, they moved, but whatever. Ebbets Field.
They moved in 1958.
We still call it Ebbets Field around that area.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely. It's beautiful.
I'm a Mets fan.
Jackie Robinson, the B's on the hat, baby. Charlie B. The B stands for Brooklyn. We know what it is.
Lee, ever heard of him?
Who?
Jackie
Robinson.
I don't know. We don't talk about him. We don't talk about him at the meetings, so I don't really know.
I'm not surprised when the meetings. We have to question what kind of meetings you're going to. Is what I was
Jackie Robinson did a movie about his life where he played himself, which is fantastic. The Jackie Robinson story. He plays himself in the movie.
That's awesome.
The guy was incredible, and obviously, one of the great American sports heroes. Not just for who he was socially, but for also he's a great player as well. And I'll tell you, I told you this, I've said this on the show before, but Charlie, when my ex-wife and I moved to Brooklyn, we moved from Fort Worth to Brooklyn, she said, you'll get to see the Brooklyn Dodgers play. It was like, they moved in 1958, but that's a nice spot that you have there. I went to see the Mets instead because I don't like the Yankees. Anyway, all right, what were we talking about? Are we broke or what? Well, you know what? Okay. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to shift, all right? I'm going to shift. Can we talk about these Pi Capital guys? All right? Okay, because...
James, you're giving me epilepsy over there.
That's the point, Affers. That's right.
He's got house music. He's got house music going in the background. So, obviously, the biggest issue facing West Ham for the last decade has been Galt Sullivan and Brady, right? Every problem we talk about, we don't sign strikers, we don't spend money, we don't have any ambition. Everything we talk about comes back to them. Everything always comes back to them. At least I think it does. We're lucky to have a manager now who is fantastic, I believe, and who's done a great job for us, despite everything. But everything comes back to us. So here we step in, or here come these guys They're kind of shady. We don't know a lot about them. They have a bunch of addresses in like China and Saudi Arabia and London, and they've only been around for like a year, and they manage a bunch of money. Their capital, their money managers is what they do, and they're coming at us with. This is almost unbelievable to me. They start these rumors like we're gonna have some celebrities, all right, some club legends, some celebrities. Who do they come at us with? Tom Skinner, who comes off as a good guy. Okay, he does. He comes off as a good guy. I will say.
Knows a good mattress.
I think Tom Skinner, I respect the fact that he's an entrepreneur. I love that he's an entrepreneur. His social media presence is very positive for West Ham, but he comes off as a great guy. Or I have nothing against him at all, except that I've asked him multiple times to come on our show, and he won't do it. He hasn't done it. I even emailed his business contact in his Twitter profile, and she has never emailed me back. So I'm just saying, if you disrespect the like 1.35 thousand subscribers of American Hammers TV,
because he's slinging mattresses,
you're gonna have a problem with me, Tom Skinner. But no, he comes off as a good guy. Anyway, but you know what? Even so, a little short of club legend. Okay, let's face it, a little short of club legend. Who else did they trot out for us? Rio, that's the best they can do. Oh, and Anton, I forgot Anton, the other guy from Wham. You know what I mean? Like Rio is George Michael, and Anton's that Adrian guy or whatever his name was. Forget about Anton. I'm sorry. I know Anton's West Ham, but you know what? Nobody cares what Anton says. They trot out Rio as the club legend.
But the big thing though is, even though it is hilarious and almost just kind of like what the fuck,
right?
But like Anton, way more West Ham.
Of course.
Fucking Rio Ferdinand. I was fuming when I saw that.
I thought, well, who are they going to get next? Frank Lampard Jr., Paul Ince, Payet, Arnautovic. What are they doing?
Obviously they're trying, but like they must have not have asked their ambassadors or whatever. Like
these
that
guys
was
come out and then they come out with a statement, right? This poorly written press release thing, sort of thing, and they say like, oh, we're gonna take control of the stadium, not buy the stadium, take control of the stadium, which means to me take control of the lease. Like if we're able to buy West Ham, we'll take control of the lease, we'll do all this stuff at the stadium. I'm like, you know what, that's great, okay, because everybody hates the stadium, all right. But Goldself and Brady promised a bunch of stuff with the stadium they were not able to deliver. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Number two, 60,000 people go to the stadium every 2 weeks, right? And they're very important. They're the core of our support. All right, guys like James, guys like Tom, they go to so we want them to be happy. But there are many millions of us around the world who do not get to go to the stadium every 2 weeks, who want to see the club succeed and win, and they have never said not a word about the club itself. It's always been, we'll make the stadium better. I'm not saying they have to say how much money they have, how much they would spend. They don't have to show their cards in negotiations. All I'm saying is, all they need to say is something like, oh, and by the way, we'd be committed to making West Ham a European contender every season, or we'd be committed to making West Ham one of the biggest clubs in England. That's all you have to say. All they've said so far is, we'll fix up your stadium, and now here's Rio Ferdinand. This does nothing for me, nothing to give me confidence that they'll be any better than Goldself and Brady. They may not be worse. It's almost impossible to be worse.
Someone said in the chat earlier, it is literally like we're picking, or not picking, but it's which two devils you want.
You know, I mean,
we don't like no devils. Not even the ones from New Jersey.
I'm sorry, I've heard that. Better the devil you know. But let's be honest, people wanted change when GSB come in, and look what we've got now. We're in a rented stadium. This like £2 million a year. We can't afford to buy anyone, and we've got the poorest training ground facilities in the Premier League. It's not exactly like they've done wonders.
Maybe the poorest in England, period. I mean, maybe the poorest anywhere in England. I bet Chelsea
don't get me wrong.
Training ground than we do.
Don't get me wrong, Lee, about the pie thing, and I'll keep mine pretty short and sweet. It's a publicity thing, right? But the only decent thing about it, that the old thing is, it opens up to the world that possibly West Ham could be up for sale. It's the only decent thing about it to me.
Okay, I agree with you on that. Do I bet on horses? I don't bet on anything because I spend all my money on West Ham gear, so I don't have any money left over after I've spent all money on shirts to bet on stuff. Lucas bets. Lucas enjoys a wager. Yeah, from time to time. He enjoys a wager.
So, I always see him talking
I am
I don't know
cold
where
as
you're going with
ice
this,
right now.
but we have some gamblers on the show, if that's what you're asking. All right. Here's what I'm saying. Clubs don't sell every day. Okay. Gold, Silver, and Brady came along. They bought the club when we were almost at administration. You do have to give them a little bit of credit for that. All right. For all the damage they've done, we're not playing in League Two or League One with Sunderland and Portsmouth and Ipswich and whoever else has suffered all the fate of going out of business. Or Barry Football Club, which doesn't exist anymore. They bought the club when we were almost at administration when we were in a dire financial strait. They have done an enormous amount of damage, and they've shown virtually no ambition. And I'm very strongly GSB out. It's just that clubs don't sell every day. All right. You don't necessarily want the first offer you have coming in to be the one you just jump at. Now, as fans, we have no control over this. I understand that. What I say doesn't matter at all. Nobody cares. I get that. But I would hate to see this, and this is kind of how I feel about it too, Alex. First of all, their sizzle is terrible. I mean, if they're this bad, if they're this bad at trying to get us interested,
you know what it is? Let me take.
I don't even like the sizzle.
Let me take them to the University of Brooklyn real quick. I'm serious. What do I always say? A key to a con is conversation. That's exactly what that damn paper was. Okay. And secondly, there's too many hands in the pot. Now, me and my brother do investment.
Yes.
Anytime I work with him and him only, because this is the reason why. You bring in Betty, Jim, John, and Joe. One wants this type of tile. One wants this type of drywall. Everybody's pissed off. When the money comes in, then you got to break up the thing. And that's what it's going to be for running a football club times a million. It's just not good. There's no successful football club running with the consortium, period. They try to do a hostile takeover. And for those that don't know what a hostile takeover, that's when the big dogs, when the owners don't want to sell, right? So you try to trick the shareholders. They're talking to us like the fans of the shareholders. That's what that paper was. Yeah. That's because they know we're pissed about the stadium. We're pissed about this. Right. So they write all that. Then they put Rio and they put the next man out there. Look, so they could get into us. They could get in with us. We're not buying it. Listen, that's some Donnie Brasco stuff. Get out of here, Donnie Brascos. You're not bringing get out of there.
I'm just saying you got to be careful, Charlie. You're absolutely right about everything you said. You got to be careful. And I'll tell you something else that Brad said up earlier that maybe this. Yeah, listen, this is not Abramovich. Okay, this is not Abu Dhabi. This is not what happened in the big club in Paris. It's not the Qataris. All right.
Yeah.
This is a consortium, which is like 8 or 9 people at a minimum, who manage other people's money, and they're going to take other people's money and put it into the club as an investment, but they're going to be beholden to their shareholders, to their stakeholders, all right? This is not the same as a wealthy family or a wealthy individual saying, I'm going to buy a football club as a toy and play with it and do what I want with it. It's not Man City. It's not Chelsea. It's not PSG. There you go, Rebecca. Sorry, you've already left. It's not anybody else you want to line up in that category. This is not what it is. It's different. And Charlie, you're right. Can you even imagine trying to sign a player when like 9 people in a consortium have to sign off on the transfer?
But GSB
it's going to be a mess.
GSB have multiple people though, like signing off. Like
GSB are terrible. I mean, they're terrible names. No argument for me. I don't like them. I want them out. They're liars. I believe they're asset stripping the club.
We're just so vulnerable right now.
Well, I want them out. But I'm saying clubs don't sell every day. All right, we've had GSB for 11 years now. You sell to a group like this, and it may be another 10 years of mismanagement and lack of ambition.
The thing is,
they go bust because I have no idea if they even have any money.
Right. The thing is, Lee. Right. I've heard a lot of this over the last sort of 4 or 5 days. Right. When people say, and I heard what you said before about when was in administration and all that, someone else would have bought us. If it wasn't Gold, Sunderland, and Brady, someone else would have bought us because the moment GSB bought us, they had their eyes firmly set on Stratford and the London Stadium.
Of course they did. Yeah, no,
they already knew what they was going to do.
It was a real estate deal.
Yeah, it was a property deal, and to get us over to Stratford for a £2 million rented accommodation is a bargain for 100 years, or whether it is a 99-year lease, or whatever it is. Yeah. So let's be honest. Like, if it wasn't them, it would have been someone else. The fact of the matter is, with GSB, they show no ambition. We're sitting here now.
Absolutely. Yes.
We're sitting here now. It was a week to go, for the start of the season, and we've signed one player. And what has done me more than anything this season, for us sort of shut up a minute, is that we're supposed to be in Europe. We're supposed to be going to the next level, right? And we can't attract players to our club, even in Europe.
And that is just
the biggest
shocking,
problem.
James.
That is
you're
a
absolutely
worry.
Right.
That's a worry to me.
Somebody said that on Twitter the other day, that here we are in Europa League. Here we've made the top 6. We're in Europe, and we still can't pull players away from clubs that finish below us.
That's the most frustrating thing.
Like
to me.
Palace are signing players, Newcastle are signing players. We can't pull players, and it's because everybody's on to these owners. So they have to go. There's no doubt they have to go. And the fact that there's even been somebody talking about buying the club has been positive. It's just you can't, and I'm not saying that I'm anti-Pi Capital. All I'm saying is I'm definitely not convinced, especially if this is how they handle.
You're allowed
publicity.
to be GSB out and very skeptical of Pi.
I think we have to be. If this is how they handle publicity, if this is how they treat the fans, they come to us and say, "All right, we're going to make our case with Tom Skinner and Rio."
But ain't it ironic though? Ain't it ironic that a week before the start of the season, right? We've signed one player on loan. We haven't paid any money for no players yet, and now this is all of a sudden come out. To me, it wouldn't surprise me if Sullivan's behind it. So he don't have to pay. He don't have to buy any players.
I had that thought too, James. I had the thought that this whole thing was organized and orchestrated by GSB themselves
It wouldn't surprise me.
Again, to throw us off of the fact that, or to make us, look away from the fact that we're not signing players. That we, as Ken said earlier, we really don't have any money. Like, there's a lot of question how much we have to spend this transfer window. We may not have anything. The Areola thing was a loan to buy.
The last transfer window, they said they had. We said, we got 20. And he said, I got 20 million. I just chose not to spend it. What happened? Somebody got on a crack cocaine addiction? What happened? Y'all ran.
It was an outage, wasn't it?
And then after that, they got rid of Haller and my Brazilian guy. So they ain't on the wages. So where's that money with? You said you had the money. You shouldn't have told.
Sullivan spent it on OnlyFans. That's what happened. Sullivan spent it all on porn.
I don't listen. They say, they got fish and they broke. I don't care what it is. I don't like them either way. They're not doing what they got to do. But with the pot thing, that's too many hands in the pot. That's not going to be a good situation.
I have no idea if this is true. I don't know. I can't confirm this, obviously. But
Shane Thomas did a piece on it the other day, so I would say that he wouldn't have put his neck on the line as a journalist without.
Then I believe it. Yeah, no, he's a good journalist.
I don't even
care
about
what I'm saying is these guys are shady to me.
I think I've been biding my time because I wanted to see what your guys' opinion was of it, and I think I'm the same as you. I'm very skeptical, but I think it comes down to two things for me. One, I did have it on good authority a few years ago from someone. I'm not going to say any names, but the whole idea of Brady and Sullivan and Gold, they wanted the stadium to they wanted to piss the LLDC off so much that they ended up just basically saying, look, you can have the stadium for free. Right. That was basically that was what they wanted.
I've heard
and
that.
Then and in that aspect, then they could do what they want with the stadium, because at the minute they're kind of stuck as to what they can actually do, because unless they buy the stadium, which will cost them more, they're not going to do it. So the other thing for me is the fact that it's all to do with this tax threshold and the percentage 2023, and that is the number I think for us. They're not selling any time before then, because and I think that is why Gold and Sullivan both had those. They had that window under Pellegrini, and they said, right, we've gone and got a manager that's supposed to play attacking football. We've got his signings, and we've gone and we've done it your way. But I think after they've seen how that failed, that they've said, between now and 2023, if we can get some of these high-name players off the wage book, if we can try to keep the transfer spending down to a minimum, and then at the end of 2023, they can say, right, somebody's come in for a £500-600 million offer, and then we'll take it. And
so basically, what you're saying, Affers, is that what they're doing is they're trying to balance the books to make their profits look better.
No, of course, that's absolutely. It. Yeah, and for me, that's the massive thing. They can just they can take. So, and I think in terms of speaking about Pi Capital, is I think they're hitting all the right notes in what they're saying, because I think and I will agree with you, Lee, and I will say that the press release that they released and the fact that like where it came from on Twitter, and it, you know, it wasn't stamped by the company. It was just a white sheet of paper. It wasn't very professional. Yeah,
man, I've written hundreds
it wasn't
of
very
releases.
professional.
It was bad.
Yeah, and especially when it came from. And again, I got nothing against Tom Skinner. I got nothing against him as a businessman or whatever, but it's not the right way for a supposed multi-million, potentially billion-dollar company to come out and say this is how we want to take over a club.
I don't think Tom Skinner was a spokesman, though. I just think he was a fan who got a bit excited because he knew the people
But he was
involved.
on a live stream the other day, and as soon as somebody started asking him questions, he sort of said, "Oh, I've got."
Now I know the person who's on the live stream.
Yeah,
I have a lot of dealings with him. He's a good man. He's used to be an agent, football agent, and basically he was on there with Tom Skinner. He was asking him all the questions. Charlie knows what I'm talking about. Right. So I'm not really worried about Skinner. Skinner's just a fan like me and you, Tom, and all the lads here. Do you know what I mean? He's a local boy to me. He's from Romford. I'm from Dagenham. So I'm not really worried about him. He's cracked it doing his businesses with his beds and all that. But at the end of the day, he's nothing to do with Pie Capital. I agree with what you're saying, but the only thing I will say is I know, like everyone's saying about balancing the books and all that, but we haven't left Upton Park 6 years ago in May to be balancing books, and this is why these have to be pushed out the door or thrown out the door.
I think as well, like what I said though, I think when they've obviously spoken to Anton and they've spoken to Rio, and I think obviously Anton probably know a lot more than Rio because Rio cares for Man United more than he does West Ham, and that's fair enough. He spent most of his career, and we get that.
And he should.
Of course, that's fair enough. Yeah. But I think the issue that I have is that by them saying, obviously the main gripe for us is the stadium, and it's, you know, for the fact that day one they'll say, right, we want to sort the stadium out, we want to do this. But for me, in that press release, the word Olympic legacy just kept getting mentioned one too many times. And I think for me, of course, I want that stadium to change. Of course, I want it to be, you know, a bit more fan friendly. We could try and do something like they did with that team in Germany and bring the seats closer, even the Etihad, just to try and make it more of a footballing venue and take it away from the athletic stuff. But that's not going to happen. And I think the other thing is massively in the press release, they spoke about the fact that it's not just here, it's what's happened at Upton Park, because you think the amount of businesses and livelihoods that weren't asked to go along with it that were completely torn away from them and the money that they were making.
I spoke to people.
That's maybe a little harsh. I'm not sure that's totally true, but anyway.
I'll be honest with you. I spoke to people. Sorry, Charlie.
Off the rails.
I spoke to people that what Athers just said there is bang on the money. Because I've actually spoke to people who have lost their jobs and businesses and homes. People lost their houses and things like that because of them. I agree. I just think the one thing I don't agree with.
The one thing that does piss me off about that is though that their retort or their reply to that was, we don't want to sell to a firm that's, you know, to do with investments and buildings and doing all this. It's like, fuck off. You literally built a set of flats in front of them.
But you know what's funny? You know what's funny, Tom, is there is a lot of irony there, right? Because they did the same thing. They bought the club for the stadium.
For the same reason.
But
that's the reason any owner is to make profit at the end of the day.
Right. But is it?
Sullivan might have been.
Is it about the stadium? Right. In my eyes,
what he said.
It's about the stadium and
because the way I look at it, the playing staff, let's be honest and real here, right? If we go back to 2016, the last game at the Bowling, Man United, West Ham, have we changed really on the pitch? Really?
No.
To me,
all the reason they wanted to move to get that stadium was so the value of the club would skyrocket. And then
West Ham could play.
They could get a
the thing is, West Ham could play over the local park, right? And they will still have fans there. Wherever West Ham go, the fans follow.
I agree.
It don't matter where they play. The problem is, I haven't seen my team in my lifetime win a trophy. Like Tom's a bit younger than me.
The other day, what do you mean?
Do you know what I mean? The Betway Shield is not a domestic trophy, in my opinion.
It's a European trophy. It's even better. It's a European trophy because we beat an Italian club. So
they went over there to skyrocket the value for when they sell it. Because if they sell it from Upton Park, it ain't gonna be the same money. Wait, hold on, let me just say this about my guy Thomas Skinner. Absolute hustler. You know what he did? He had a little piece of information and he tricked the whole internet, you bunch of mooks. He just got a whole bunch of fucking $1 million worth of commercial for free. He got the most PR in like a week and a half, and he did it off the muscle. And listen, on Dave's show, this is how I noticed what he was doing. Because on day when he was interviewing, he's asking him, he's like, oh, well, how do you really know? He's like, I know him. But wait, I'm not too sure. Wait, you just vouch for these people, but you're not. But now he's not sure, and he's like, oh, I gotta get off because I'm tired.
Slinging.
And now he's out there. His mattress hustle went up 30%, and you dumb mook bastards helped him do it. Oh, I gotta see what's going on. What's going on? Go get a fucking drink and look at the beautiful.
That's some real jabroni shit.
Go bird watch every day on the internet. I need more.
Charlie Boy has spoken.
No, Charlie Boy's right. Charlie Boy's right. That's exactly what he
out
did.
of here. They're driving me nuts.
The
Get on
thing-
you, Skinner.
Charlie Boy's right.
Get him.
That's exactly.
I think-
pockets, baby.
That's exactly what he did.
The thing
Yeah,
is, as well,
Skinner, what a G. I love him.
you have to realise as well, in terms of the stadium,
He's
the
so
plans,
right.
the plans afterwards showed that from where
University
behind the
football.
chicken run used to be, or I'm pretty sure it was the chicken run used to be, what was the Betway stand they ended up being, they could develop onto the back of that and expand. So it's not just, it's the area that comes with it. They didn't really want to be associated with something. I don't want to say associated with, but it wasn't to the likes of, obviously, if you guys, I don't know, especially the American guys, obviously myself and James would have been there, but it's not just the Olympic Stadium, it's Stratford as a whole, how expensive it is around there now, and Westfield, which is the main thing for them. And that's a lot more.
There you go. There's
It's a
European
lot.
glory. European glory in August, right there.
It's a lot.
I don't know
Look
why
how happy
Why is
they look.
Antonio looking like Ashley Cole over there on the
I
left?
don't know why you're. Oh, that's harsh. Oh.
But
yeah.
they would rather be associated with something that's got a good upstanding, especially the area, because realistically, Upton Park was a shithole, but it was our shithole.
It was,
But they didn't care for that. I mean, fuck it, they blew the stadium up. I mean, how
And they filmed it
Can
for
you
a
get?
movie.
We don't want
exactly.
we
But
don't
they
want
could
fucking
have
scenery. We want a fucking
Yeah.
ground.
But that's the
The
thing.
problem
They,
is-
they could have built on the back of that, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
They didn't want to
That is
because the fact that they could have that stadium rent free, and you know, they have the Westfield experience to come with it.
Let's
and
be honest,
you know,
if you're going to get a £2 million a year rent for the next 99 years, and you're going to get a 60,000 seat stadium for it, it's good business sense, isn't it? But it's not good for the fans at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I follow a lot of West Ham fans, right?
But it's coming.
And basically one of the lads, Baz Cox, who I follow, he talks a lot of
Baz is a good
sense.
guy. He's been on
Yeah,
with us
Baz
before.
is a diamond. He gets a
he's
lot of
great
stick.
guy, yeah.
Gets a lot of stick because he's very balled out. But he turned around and
like
said,
him,
like, at the end of the day, right, it's a property deal, right? They knew the moment they was looking at West Ham, right, they was looking at that Olympic Stadium, they thought, right, we're getting there, like Afan said, right? They could have built around West Ham because he needed developing Upton Park, right? And it could have been done, but
they just weren't prepared to do it.
yeah, and why would you go and pay 10, 15, 20 million to redo it when you can go and pay 2 million and have a stadium built for you? Like, it's common sense, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's a shame, but as I say, like, and I've said it to you before, I'm not really worried about the stadium. I'm worried about the pitch, mate, because like at the stadium, wherever West Ham play, we don't care. Like, but wherever I want to see West Ham win trophies and be a bit ambitious.
We all do.
Do you know what I mean?
That's the change. That's exactly what I keep coming back to with the whole pie thing. Nobody from that organization has said anything about the team, and people keep saying, "Well, they can't legally say that until they buy the club." No, there's things they can't legally say. All right, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer in the UK, barrister, whatever you call them. I can't remember. But the point is, they can say things like, "We would be committed to making West Ham a world-class club." They could say that. They could say that. They can say things like, "We would invest in the playing squad." But the problem, I get what you mean, and I think that's the thing that's irked me, and I'm erring on the side of caution, is the fact that they are not willing to talk about anything other than the stadium and the Olympic legacy at the minute. And I think for me, that's skeptical, because whereas if you, for instance, had some oligarch or some human rights Saudi Arabian, tycoon would come in and say, right, I want my team, I'm in Champions League football, I want this, and he'd go ahead and do it. But I think it's the fact that they're quite reserved in the way that they're doing it, the way that it's come across to the fans. Of course, everybody is skeptical.
Is it because they haven't? I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you totally. Yeah, but is it because they can't guarantee anything because they put a bid in, it ain't been accepted, so to speak?
Yeah.
Like,
they can't guarantee anything. But
I genuinely think in 2-3 years' time, if we were to actually able to cement ourselves as a top 6 club between now and 2023, and we were constantly, getting into the Europa League. At least, I think, obviously, by the time that they're ready to sell, which will probably be, and I remember we did a show about this. Even American Hammers, I think, was about 2 years ago or even a year ago at start of lockdown when there was that rumor first time round that hang on a minute, there's been a bid, and every single one of us saying no, 2023, let's not get excited. So I think if it got to 2023, they'd have a lot more offers on the table from some bigger hitters.
I think it's always been, Tom. That's always been the date. It's the date when they're out of the tax liability.
Yeah,
I think from the very beginning, everybody has said it's 2023. We just have to survive, literally survive as a Premier League club until that time. And then I'm with you. I do think they will sell if they want to sell. I think that they want to get their money back and make more on top of it.
Do you know what? As much as it pains me to say it, and I genuinely I honestly think David Sullivan, Karen Brady can do one for as I care, but I genuinely don't think David Gold, because as much as he plays on it and stuff, and he did grow up literally on Green Street and stuff like that, I don't think that he would want that club to go to ruin. He wouldn't want it to be sold.
I don't know, Tom. I don't know, mate.
I know he's got the less of the share now.
If he cared, Tom, let me put it this way, right? If he cared as much as all of us here, the people in the chat, he would walk away because he knows full well he can't take us any further.
No, but he doesn't have a say in it either, though, because he's now the 49% in it, or the 40%. He's the smaller majority, other than Trip Smith.
At the end of the day, with regards of all of them, they value money over the club. Right?
Just the lesser they.
Of course they do.
Right? They put the business front rather than the fans front. Let's put it like this, right? I support West Ham as much as you do. Well, I've supported them since birth. At the end of the day, I would value that. I would want that club to progress and be the best it can be. They are happy with being mid-table.
I'm not defending them in any way, okay, in any way. But let me just say this. Every owner West Ham have ever had has been the same way. Every owner has cared more about money.
But not every owner, Lee, has took us out of our own, though, mate. That's the difference.
No, I agree. This
is the difference.
I don't want to defend them because I think what they did absolutely tore the heart out of the club. I do.
Affers is right. Well, because I know this for a fact. Yeah, because someone showed me the plans of the ground. When we got relegated in 2003, there was plans in place to rebuild West Ham, but it got docked because obviously we went into the Championship. At the end of the day, I agree with what Affers was saying there, but I just think to myself, especially with Gold. I'm not saying it like obviously Sullivan's the kingpin, isn't he? He's the one who runs the show up there. And
by the way, this is true. They do think they've done a great job. He's absolutely right about this.
I can't believe that they do that, mate.
No,
I really don't.
They do. They don't understand. They hate them. They don't get it. I really don't think they do. Anyway, go ahead, James. Sorry.
I'll just look at it like this, right? At the end of the day, and I don't know. I'll sort of hand it to everyone on the floor. We left in 2016. We had one world-class player then in Dimitri Payet, who was at the time one of the best players in Europe at the time for us,
in the world,
or even in the world, right? We've gone
to the Ballon d'Or, yep.
Right, we've gone to the London Stadium, yeah. Then that season, we signed the biggest load of shite I've ever seen at West Ham. 3 transfers: Nordveit, Gokantor, Ashley Fletcher, Jonathan Kaleri. I can reel them off, right? And that's what we signed, right? We're now in 2021, and we've got one world-class player at our club now. That's Declan Rice.
Don't say Cy Ben Rama.
No, not yet. That's not for another 18 months, Tom. But I'm being serious here, right?
Mikel Antonio and Declan Rice. Anyway, no.
I would like Declan Rice is world class in my opinion. He's a world class player.
England international. Right? Yes, absolutely, no question.
And I look at it like this: have we progressed really as a club? We haven't got one striker at the club.
No, we haven't progressed.
I genuinely think, though, last thing I'll say, sorry, Lee, is I genuinely think if they can somehow in the next 2 years secure that stadium, and if they can also come to for instance, Pi said that they had an agreement in place with the LLDC. If they can somehow get the rights to that stadium and they can buy it and they themselves can get that agreement from the LDC, it will make us that much more attractive come 2023 time when they want to sell, because that ultimately at the minute is the biggest bargaining chip that they've got with that stadium, is that if whoever holds it, cash is key or king in that aspect, because all of a sudden that price goes up, because anybody then who wants to come over and take it can go, right, I want this, and this. So if they can get it before then, that's why I think if they do and they manage to get that agreement, there will be more heavy hitters, I think, come 2023.
No question that if they own the stadium, it changes everything. to me it changes everything. I think there are two things, Tom, and it's exactly what you've been saying. One is ownership of the stadium, and two is the which they go together, is the release from that tax liability. If they get that done in the next 2 years from now, from today, 2 years from now, I think it changes everything. That's why I'm saying yes, we desperately want them out, but let's just, again, we have no control over this. But I would say as fans, don't look at the first girl who comes along as the rebound girl you want to marry. You know what I mean?
We ain't gonna talk about Mousy Girl. This is a new season.
We're talking about Jesse Lingard. We'll see. We're going to find out whether he goes back to his mousy girl at West Ham or whether he stays with the hot girl.
He ain't coming over here.
I don't think he is either, Charlie. I'm with you. I've moved on past it personally, but there seems to be some rumors floating around that he's, reconsidering. I think, this is like the hot girl at, well, she's not even all that hot. This is a mysterious girl, and you're kind of like, well, is she hotter than my girlfriend? Is she richer than my girlfriend? She may be so much more trouble, or just as bad. It can be just as bad. And again, a club doesn't sell every 6 weeks or every 6 months. People, these companies, these owners own clubs for years. You don't want to get in this situation.
The problem is they want a hell of a lot of money for what West Ham's really worth. That's the problem. That's the real problem.
That's why they need the stadium. That's what Tom was
saying. It ain't just the stadium. The training facilities. I've seen better training facilities over a Sunday league football.
I can take you.
I've seen better facilities in Greenhaven.
I could take you to high school.
Exactly.
Training facilities in the United States. I could take you to my hometown. I'll take you to my hometown.
Knows what's going on.
Where the training facilities are nicer than what West Ham have. I promise you, I guarantee you.
And the thing is, they want. I don't know whether AFAs will agree or not, but is it about 500 to 650 they want AFAs for the stadium?
I think so.
For the whole package.
The whole package. I don't think they'd accept anything less than 600 genuine. And I think, like I said, I think that goes up to 800 if they get the stadium legitimately.
Right. But that's after, like, if they could avoid the tax and get the stadium and all that, then they would sell it for 6. If they're going to sell it right now, they're going to sell it. They're going to rip somebody off so they can get their bag. That's what it boils down to.
The biggest fear.
8 right now, they would sell it for $800 million.
The biggest fear that I have. Is if they hand it down to their kids. That's the biggest fear I had. Because
Jack Sullivan pulled. I almost said he pulled out of the women's team. Okay, maybe I shouldn't phrase it that way. Jack Sullivan, because I love and respect our women's team. That's why. So anyway,
Jackie boy.
I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm just saying. Plus, with his dad's heritage, you never know. But anyway,
Lee, you're a proper wordsmith, my guy.
That's what I do for a living. That's what I get paid to do. It's what I get paid to do. Jack Sullivan stepped away. He stepped away from the women's team.
Different ball game though. The women's stuff.
But really I know, but it told me. But you know what? He seems a lot less involved with the club than he was for several years.
You should have seen him 5-6 years ago.
That's what I mean. He was running all the social media. No, he was running all the social media when he was like 16. He was a massive presence in the club as a teenager.
He at least showed initiative.
Rob Pritchard used to hate him. Genuinely, he hated him.
Team. He did a pretty good job with the women's team. He did. But what I'm saying is, like, yes, I know. Rebecca has the same mind that I do. Anyway. The fact that he said, and I know the women's thing is tiny compared to the club. It's a little speck of dust on the, it's a grain of sand on the beach. I get that. But the fact that he stepped away tells me that maybe he doesn't want to inherit. Right. He doesn't want to inherit the team or the club. Maybe he does. Maybe he's stepping away.
That's all right. He'll inherit his dad's, all these $1 million assets afterwards.
He's going to get the money. He's going to get that stupid big.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right.
Right, exactly. I don't think he wants to run a football club. What is
the apple don't fall far from the tree, boys?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? The apple in this case is coated in gold, Charlie. It's he's getting the money.
You're never too far from the bodega.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to know about.
He's got that house with all the tag. You ever see the inside of Sullivan's house? You ever see the inside of it?
Yeah, I'm over there all the time.
It's Russian as shit.
Sunday dinner
That's what
is
I'm
lit.
saying. It's all
God,
like,
I fucking hate them so fucking much.
it's like he bought like every, I don't know. It's like he went on an eBay sort of buying spree off of like ebay.ru. He went on like Russian eBay.
See, the thing is, right, with GSP, right,
eBay
if they was to actually show a bit of ambition to every fan, like say for instance, this window, for instance, they would have went out and gone, right, we're going to go and get Tammy Abraham, we're going to go and get Areola, we're going to go and get a couple of
well, they got
defenders.
Areola, to be fair.
Right.
They did get Areola, to be fair, yeah.
Right.
Sullivan,
If they would have shown
like that, with a name like that, Sullivan couldn't say no.
That's what I'm saying, right? But at the end of the day, if you show ambition, you might win a few fans round and say, you know what, at least they're trying. There's just nothing there. Like it's just every year. Like Lee, this is the best season that West Ham's had for a long time.
I know.
Season.
I'm well aware. I believe me, I know. Yeah.
Since '99, I think it was. So it's the last like 22 years, right?
Yes.
Now, for me, when you're coming to a week before the start of the season, you've only signed a goalkeeper on loan. But fair enough, he's a great goalkeeper.
Of course, he's on loan though. Of course, it's loan to buy.
Right, and
I don't
people,
it's like it's all one color. It's all
really
the same
affecting
color.
Lee, this.
It's
look
just,
at that. Look. See, that's what does
money.
me.
Let's sell
Like
that
with
fucking
our
chandelier then we get some money. Well,
and look, all that stuff he's got in there is all because of all the West Ham fans who's been putting in for generations.
Exactly. Look at
that chandelier is worth a Tammy Abraham.
Yeah. Is that a silver deer? What the hell is going on?
It's so tacky. It's just so tacky. I mean,
such fucking bullshit.
All that money, and he just does it. He's like he decorates like a Russian prostitute.
My house is nicer, and the crown molding in my house is even better. I can show you right now. It's
That's
nice.
what I'm saying. It looks like a Russian brothel. It does. It's anyway. I mean, whatever.
Fucking
I
Tom,
can't.
man.
Don't get me wrong. I cannot stand
Lucas.
this man. I detest this man, and you all should know that. But the whole objection to Pie is not based
Lee,
on,
he said he wants to come on American Hammers. Would you accept him?
Of course I would accept him. I would love to have him on. Listen. I told Tom.
Except Lee don't send me the link that night. He's like, "No, we're not going to see me on." Absolutely not.
I would listen. I would.
That'd be good.
I would have him and Brady and Goal. I would have anybody. Listen, I believe it or not, I used to be a journalist. I would love to ask this guy some questions. Love to ask him. I have to prepare for that one. I actually have to get ready for that one, unlike most of these things. I'd want to have, all my ducks in a row and so forth.
Yeah.
But yes, I'd love to have him on. Of course I would. He wants to come on. Anybody wants. Tom Skinner, I told him.
That's a PR nightmare. He won't do it.
Tom Skinner, many times I said, come talk to us. You wrote this Pie thing. I said, come on our channel. I know it's not big, but come on our channel. Did you ask him for Hammers Chat, Tom?
I don't work with Hammers Chat anymore.
Oh, you don't? Okay. My apologies. I did not know that.
It's been nearly a year now, yeah.
Well, I'm paying no attention. Sorry. What, do you have a thing? Are you doing your own thing?
Me? Yeah. Oh no, yeah. I'm doing separate stuff, but not related to West Ham anymore.
My
Unfortunately,
guy's the king. Don't be humble. He's the king of the FIFA world.
Oh, you're doing the FIFA stuff. You're doing the FIFA stuff.
He's a beast.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just saying.
Young trade double on the FIFA sticks. FIFA Khalifa.
I listen. I am like 1 degree of separation away from Donald Trump. Okay, I know a guy.
It does look like the Trump thing, don't it?
It does look like a Trump property. It does. I know a guy who worked with Donald Trump a guy in the hotel industry who worked with Donald Trump very closely. So, just saying.
Carefully, FBI, open up.
A good dude who was a friend of my dad's. Who was a friend of my dad's in Dallas. A nice guy, a good guy who worked in the hotel industry for many years, and he worked with Trump. Anyway, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Do I speak from experience? I mean, I've never been to Russia, so I've never been to a Russian brothel. But anyway,
I can't wait for Ajax away.
Oh man, let me just say that I lived in Rotterdam for a while when I was over there, and I lived in Rotterdam for a little while when my ex-wife was in graduate school in Rotterdam. And if you want to see like English guys go crazy, just hang out in the Amsterdam red light district, because it's,
Sorry.
There is that a cat?
Oh, it is indeed. Yes, this is the old one, Poppy, 16 years old.
Oh my word! Well, hello, Poppy. What a
Hey
cutie.
Lee, you know how you get them on? This is how you get them on. You got to word it real sexy, right? You got to be like, most of our viewers are live in the UK and they all love mattresses.
Oh, listen,
yeah, my man's a be all here.
Yeah, I'm in the market
bosh.
for one.
Yeah.
I wonder if he ships. To
Everybody
US.
in the live chat needs a double twin. Hit him up.
He doesn't even deliver like he actually drives the mattress to you. So
That's what I've
unless
heard,
he's going cross.
I love an
He's
entrepreneur.
a businessman.
I respect entrepreneurs and I love entrepreneurs, and I'm very serious about this. And I think the fact that he is an entrepreneur is fantastic. I think generally he gives a really good impression of West Ham fans on social media, at least. So I like Tom Skinner. I do.
But
I'm just not ready. I don't. He hasn't convinced me on this Pike Apple thing. That's all I'm saying. Not a bad guy, but I need to hear a little bit more from.
He's a businessman that got it out of the mud. Instead of spending 200 grand on a business uni that's only going to do nothing but put him in debt, 200 grand for a stupid ass degree. We could have taught you all that from books from the library in Brooklyn on a weekend
You know what?
for $30.
You're totally right, Charlotte. It's exactly
Turn the
what he did.
corner. Turn the corner.
The dude is a great self-promoter, a superb self-promoter. The fact that I have heard of him says a lot. I mean, across the world, he's on all this reality TV and all this stuff. He's got a.
That's the
great
thing. Get a nice catchphrase going there. That even helps you more.
He's got it all. He knows what's going on.
The dude is. I like the guy. Okay, I do.
We will promo the hell out of anything for him.
I think. Listen. If he would like to, if anybody, by the way, would like to sponsor us, I'm not against that at all.
This episode was brought to you by Korean Ginseng Tea. Get it in your cup.
Remember we had Charlie boy. Do you remember when Tim had the sponsorship from the coffee company that had the CBD coffee?
Was it the Straff coffee?
Strava something. Strava something. I think they were called Strava. I don't drink coffee because I don't like the way it tastes, but he loved it. He thought it was really good. So anyway, but yeah, they're long gone.
Surprised it's not being sponsored by his movie company these days. Thought they would have.
He's kept that totally separate from this, which is a little bit of a surprise. Yeah, he's produced a movie. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's even done yet. But anyway.
Is it out? Is it ready?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask him. I have not talked to. Honestly, have not talked to Tim in ages. Even though he lives like 2 minutes. Well, about 10 minutes away. I haven't seen him in ages. So he should have the kids over. We should have him over to swim, and we'll talk business. We'll talk business. So, all right. Ken is tired of talking about this.
Speaking of Americans, you missed out. We had Adam Frankel in my casa a couple of weeks ago. He came over.
I saw that you were with Frankel. And
even Rebecca journeyed up. There we are, the three of us.
Rebecca was there too.
She was up there as well. Yeah, she came up. she was the one who got me the Tevez shirt. That's why I forever love Rebecca. The greatest present I've ever received. It's a Carlos Tevez shirt.
I don't know how much sense this makes.
Not the same. Although I will say, when he came round, I did get a little freaked out because he said that he had some sweets in the back of his car that he wanted me to show. And he took me round. Listen, and I have proof here. I have proof. I have a Jolly Rancher.
Oh yeah.
And I ate my first Twinkie as well. He gave me a Twinkie. And then he poked me in the bum. But the Twinkie was good, as I was saying.
Right.
The Twinkie was fantastic.
I want to know why he poked you in the bum, mate.
That was going to happen no matter what, right? The bum poking part was always going to happen. So you might as well have the Twinkie. Twinkie, an actual Twinkie or a metaphorical Twinkie? Because there's a big difference between the two.
No, it was like
either way we say
red
pause.
and blue. It was American coloured flag.
You realize
Twinkie.
that Twinkies cannot spoil or go bad.
No,
right?
no.
They last forever. I'm not joking, but they last forever. That they're literally like in an apocalypse.
Well, that's what they joked on that Tomorrowland or whatever it was called, when like everything had gone to shit and the zombies had been invaded, and all he wanted to do was find a van of Twinkies.
and there's a Family Guy episode where they go to a post-apocalyptic Framingham. Framingham's a city in Mass, a little west of here. They go to a post-apocalyptic Framingham, and they end up at the end. They try to find the Twinkie factory in Natick to survive off the Twinkies. So
Adam uses them to touch kids. So yeah.
Rebecca said she was touched by Frankel.
He touches everyone. He touches everyone.
but he didn't die this time. He did live through the whole. Okay, so there were no deaths. I killed him after I beat Tim on what's the name of our game show? What's the name of our game show?
Friday
I forgot.
Night
No, not the other. No, Hammer Shots. The one Frankel hosts, Hammer Shots. Yeah. So I beat Tim by like 1 point on Hammer Shots, and then Frankel died that night, and then of course he came back. So a trick only a couple of people have ever done. I tell you, that's a really impressive thing to do. Anyway, Hammer Shots. Yes, thank you. I couldn't remember that. I haven't done this in a long time. I've forgotten everything. All right, so
predictions.
Newcastle. We know last season they took 6 points off of us. The last 3 were kind of devastating toward the end of the season. We have had a very decent preseason. I have no idea. These early games, games in August, games in May, flip a coin, honestly. Who knows? Really? I have no idea what's going to happen. Remember when Villa beat Liverpool like 7-2 last season, early in the season?
Yeah.
Stuff like that just happens in August. Guys are coming back from tournaments, are coming back from vacation. You don't know what's going to happen. I would feel very confident about Newcastle away if we hadn't lost twice last season to Newcastle. So, what do you think is going to happen? Lucas, do you have thoughts? We'll start with you.
I predict lots of GSB and Ashley out chance. In pure, beautiful unity.
I will say that we have
harmonious rhythms.
A real brotherhood with Newcastle fans right now. We do. First of all, I like them, okay, because they're genuine. No, I'm talking. You don't have to. I don't know them, though. You know what I mean? I don't know very many. All right.
I have my reasonings for not liking them.
He's got an old beef with a Jordy. Don't worry, I got your back, Anthony.
What I like about him is, first of all, I don't know what they're saying to me, so I'm just going to assume they're saying something nice.
Why I like
that accent is it's like you might as well come at me in Bulgarian and I'd be like, I'm picking up some of that. But if you come at me with a Geordie accent, I don't know.
Gone out on the tune.
I don't know what they're talking about. They're so I assume it's all lovely, wonderful stuff. But you know what? They're genuine fans. They haven't won a trophy in a million years. They show up for every match. They you know what? I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with it. Anyway,
too many Gregs in Newcastle League. There's too many.
Like guys named Greg?
No, just the fucking shop.
The women named Greg. We don't like the women named Greg neither.
We walk out the station, there's a Greg's in front of you. You go about 100 yards to the left, there's another Greg's. You go around the corner there's another Greg's.
Okay.
Look how passionate Athens is. Athens, let it out, son. Let it out.
Sounds like Royal Farms in Baltimore.
It's Dunkin' Donuts in anywhere in New England. Yeah.
No, they're a good fan base, but I accidentally had a run-in with them once. Not me personally, but we got stuck in a pub opposite Newcastle train station. It's one of the, for some reason, I've been there 4 times Newcastle late. I've lost every single time. Hence why my prediction today will be another bad prediction.
That's what worries me. Yes.
And we were in the closest pub to the train station. Across it is.
This is probably in Newcastle. I don't know.
It is probably. We literally in the pub opposite the train station, and then they let us out with about 10 minutes to go to the game, and they walked us. There was one police officer, and he walked us past the home supported Newcastle pub, and they were all coming out at the same time we were coming out, and obviously they had a few beers. West Ham fans had a few beers, and it was just absolute chaos in the streets. I've never feared for my life so much. There was just a massive brawl, and I was like 18 years old, and I was running away from the whole thing. Don't mind a scrap if it involves me, but there was some bottles being thrown. There was a lot of shit going on, and I was like, no,
did you?
I thought you was talking about guys named Greg. I thought we was going.
I did too. I was like guys named Greg.
Situation.
Listen, I love me a Greg's.
Did you get your hair messed up, Tom?
No. I just sort of I saw it happen.
You seem like a guy who'd be very concerned about the state of your hair at most times. And listen, I sympathize as somebody with, quite frankly, a kingly mane. I get it. I do. you have a nice sort of quaff, and I'm just wondering if like
Athers is a good-looking lad, mate.
Did
He
you get
don't
a-
want to
did you
get.
get a
He don't want to
muff?
get in a scrap,
He's
does
a
he?
Did
kid
you get a
model.
muff?
Look at him.
He don't want to
Yeah,
get in the trenches. Do you know what I
He
mean?
He's a
doesn't want to
proper
get a
kid
must.
model with the
Yeah.
Europa badge.
I wouldn't
It's
have
in
mind.
special edition. It's a
With hair
model
like
that's on
that, with hair like
HTV.
that, you don't put it back together easily, right?
No,
You
but
don't-
listen,
it's, you know,
listen.
yeah.
I wouldn't have mind. Like I said, I've had a fair few fights. You know, when you're growing up and you go to school and everything else. But fuck me, Lee. I'm not that old. So when
his name's Lee too. I was like, what? Why are you saying that to me?
But I was stood next to the guy basically who turned around and spat his beer out in front of a Newcastle fan, and then bam! I was literally like, I was in no man's land, and I was like, shit, I gotta get out of here. So
I would not have wanted to be there, to be honest with you. You know me, that I'm not like the most.
listen, I'm the kind of guy like if there's a fence between us, I will be big and brave. But in the trenches, I'm not cut out for it. I'm a very skinny, slim man. I don't suit well with that stuff.
I don't even like to get in arguments on Twitter. Okay, so
I can do that bit.
In person, I'm with. Listen, you know me. I'm not if somebody were attacking my friends or family, then I would, respond as best I could, right? But that would have to be a situation where there'd be like an emergency.
You can't never run.
Listen,
you can't run.
I'll go
Leah,
full Green Street on a motherfucker.
If I ran, this ain't no going back to the neighborhood. I'm like, CB ran. He ain't with the fade. He took flight. What they say? I spent my summers in the Ville. Never ran, never ran, never will, baby.
The sad thing is,
from Newcastle to the mean streets of Brooklyn.
Yeah,
I'm not either one.
I'll get knocked out. I don't care.
Ken, I'm not either one. I'm not a lover. I'm not a fighter either. I'm not either one of those things.
Thing is, I don't know what your cops are like over there. I know they don't have a great rep.
You don't know. Have you not seen TV?
Well,
no. But I'm saying over here,
I would be okay.
Over here, they
would be all right. His organization of people is okay.
All the cops have the rolling videotapes and stuff.
I'm getting the nightstick action. Walking down the church.
Charlie, let me tell you something, Charlie boy. If it were dark enough, you might be in some. You might have some trouble.
Oh, true.
Just saying.
That's the only time I run when the Jonathans are about, but we don't run for
If the lighting is poor, you should probably, get away.
Lee, can I just say, you said I cared about my hair. Lee, you said that I cared about my hair too much. I'd like you to check your Twitter DMs and just you can show the people. I really don't give a shit. I go bald if I feel like my hair's got too long. Usually I rock with a fade, but there are occasions when I do shit like this, which you will soon see.
Oh my god!
There you go.
Okay. Hang on.
We got to hear the Millwall story.
Oh, listen. CB's seen this picture because it's in the Hammers Chat Discord. Yeah, it's me. I would have done it this summer if we'd have won the Euros as well.
Oh.
Blimey.
That is rough, man.
Yeah,
that's a little rough.
Yeah,
Athers, you had a hard life, or something, or what?
Yeah, that's. I lost the bet.
I mean, the trim is pretty nice, actually. It's not bad, but the
Eminem's making a comeback.
It's the bog standard fuckboy UK haircut of skin fade and
do that.
Yo, my roast meat is going like this, but I'm gonna allow it because it's my boy. But my roast meat.
Will the real Athers please stand up? I repeat, will the real Athers please stand up? I feel like he's gonna bust out the song "Stan" or something in a minute.
Oh, this is true. When Ken and I were in the pub with the guy from Millwall, I did not run. That's true. I did not run, but I'm also very slow. So that's we had a run in with a skinhead with a Millwall fan. That's really happened. I forgot about that. I can't believe I forgot about that. But no, I
He's probably a lovely guy, huh?
I would say I stood my ground, except I sat the whole time, so I sat my ground. That's what I did.
He didn't run, all right? He didn't run.
I basically let Ken handle everything, because he knows sort of what to do.
He did gun fingers and said, "Listen, pussy hole out." You don't want to run for me right now. I beat Daddy Lee from Texas, and I got the M on. I'm gonna bust your ass all over.
I will tell you this: it's the what.
That's what Lee told him.
It's these days. I'm not a firearm guy anymore, but I have owned firearms. Okay,
that Waco Rocket.
I have owned firearms.
Lee got in that karate stance.
I would have loved to have pulled. I wouldn't have wanted to hurt the guy, but just to pull out like a Glock 9, like to pull out a Glock 9, right? That would have been the most American thing.
Can't do that over here. There's two people
carrying
knives.
That's what I'm saying. No, listen. What, knives? No,
Yeah.
son, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Oh no,
You know
yeah,
that.
but every other person in the UK feels scared when they go out, carries a knife. So it's
Okay,
like,
but you carry a Glock 9. You don't need a knife, is all I'm saying. All right,
I bet.
I'm not a tough guy.
I feel
I'm
like
just
we
telling
have
you.
really strayed from the
I'm
predictions.
just telling you.
but,
I'm just telling you.
Lucas,
No.
what was your prediction?
I'm a pacifist.
The prediction
and a
is
peaceful-
death.
peaceful person. No, I'm a pacifist and a peaceful person. I'm serious about that. It's just that in that
Whoever
one
brings the
moment,
knife to the gunfight wins.
No, I just wanted to scare him. That's all. Just
unless
scare him.
you're of a different ethnicity that meets in groups at strange times of night, then Lee has a problem.
Well, no, I mean, it's fine to me that all people of the same ethnicity know each other. I think it's very appropriate. I think it's positive and good. So yeah.
Sorry, I'm stirring the pot. I'm sorry.
No, there's no.
Me and my Slavs, we just squat.
That's
what
what
we
I'm
do.
saying. Lucas knows all the Slavs, and I know all the.
Charlie knows all the. I nearly called you a wop then, just because my best mate's Italian.
Oh, whoa! Yo, that's like
Dude,
the N-word.
no, you can't do that. You cannot
My
be
best,
throwing
no,
violation.
my flatmate's.
I was just about to have his back with the Jordans, and you just called me a slur. Oh my God!
My flatmate
Oh.
was
Oh.
Italian, and I lived with him for a few
Did
years,
you
and
call
we're
him
best
that
mates.
too?
No,
Oh man, there it is. My best friend.
I'll show you. I'll show you the
man.
text. I'll show you the
Oh,
text that
man.
I sent him before the
I'm
Europa League
offended.
final.
I'm upset now. I'm totally offended. That's
If
it.
let me find the text I sent him before the.
James is gone. James has probably thought better of this
James,
whole
I got-
thing.
yeah, he's
James
got-
is
oh
like,
my
yeah,
God, what is
I
going
think I'm
on?
just kidding. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh, man.
No, come on. You guys know that I am that I love all people and I'm a very peaceful person, and that is the truth. I didn't want to shoot the Millwall guy. I just wanted to scare him a little bit. That's all. I just wanted to scare him a little bit.
Just I don't even know if that's going to focus properly. No, it's
No,
not.
it doesn't.
You're a wop if Italy win, and if we lose, if we win, you're English. But if Italy win, you're a wop. So
Oh man,
I'm sorry, CB. I'm
That's
sorry.
rough,
you're
man.
out of
Tom,
control. Tom's out of control. You have just outlead Lee.
I was going to say.
You can't even say nothing to Lee.
I was doing a little banter. I read a little banter, making fun of myself.
Tom went full on hate mode.
Making fun of myself for being a
Let me go on a few Italian. Let me
white guy.
Let me go on a few Italian stereotypes. Sorry, CB. I love pizza. I love The Sopranos. Okay,
Oh,
listen.
This is not helping.
I love
at all.
pasta. Tagliatelle.
How about opera? Do you like
Beautiful.
opera? I like opera. I like opera.
Parmesan.
I do like opera.
Mozzarella.
How about yeah. All right.
I can say some Italian. Va fan bagno. Get in the bath. I can do all that.
Oh man, I don't know.
Where'd you learn that one?
My Italian flatmate. Va fan bagno.
You told him to get in the bath?
No, that's what they say. It's like a play. Like Italians, I know the literal translation is get in the bath, but a lot of them say va fan bagno because it's kind of like they use it in a derogatory term kind of way.
Okay, all right. You should stop.
Listen, I got an Inter Milan shirt in there. I may as well be half Italian myself. Let me keep digging my hole.
I don't like. Listen, that's Northern Italy. They don't like us down in the South. That's two different situations.
Where's your family from, Charlie boy? Where's your family from?
Napoli.
There you go, Napoli. That's
Jesus Christ! I take it all back. I'm so sorry.
We speak a whole different kind of situation. Justin.
I have been to Napoli, and that's a beautiful city. By the way,
It's a shithole.
No, it is not.
Look at
Athens. Beautiful.
Athens. You are out of pocket like a
I
robber right now, my friend.
I had a great seafood meal. Listen, I had a great seafood meal in Naples, or right in Napoli. I had a great seafood meal right next to a genuine old-fashioned porno theater. A legit porno theater was right next to the seafood place.
When was this though? Like 1980? Because
this was 2004-ish. Not a million years ago.
Bullet holes all over the walls in southern Italy.
Come on.
But I know that's normal to you guys. I'm sorry.
Some of us don't run from fights.
I've missed you all. Listen, what can I say?
It's like I've missed you. What better way to show my love than to just hate on some of these people right to them live on TV?
All right, I was making fun of myself for being a middle-aged, middle-class white guy, and then Tom had to come in with all this, anger and hatred.
It was all that talk about fights. It's all the talk about the fights.
It really is deep down. It's the Euros.
My hatred for the Italians is from the Euros.
Yeah. Bex, she knows the psychology. Get him on the couch and have a talk with this young man. Bex, sort him out. Get him sorted.
I'm not sure I was eating fish. Well, it smelled like fish.
Had a nice 9-1 future on Italy to win the whole thing.
It smelled like fish. Anyway,
hey, at least see my gambling tickets. He knows what's going on.
I am bringing it back. Yes. We support David Sullivan's club, so how can you not really?
Listen,
right.
David Sullivan got a hard on thinking that when we were talking about signing Areola, that he was going to get the real deal.
I was going to say, how could he not sign Areola? Exactly. How could he not? I mean, he had to have it. He really cleaved to him. Anyway, Lucas, what is your
what is your prediction?
What is your prediction for? You know what I used to drink a lot when I was in France? Newcastle Brown. I drank a lot of Nuki Brown back in Paris, in the English pubs. I liked it actually. It was pretty good. So, anyway, what's your prediction for Newcastle away?
like Clubber Lang, pain.
Yes.
Lots of boot.
He should have won an Oscar for that movie, by the way.
We're gonna do lots of booshin' and boshing. I'm gonna go
with Tom Skinner.
Yes, we're gonna celebrate like the mad lads we are. I'm gonna go epic 2-1 West Ham.
All right. Now let me ask you this. This is stupidly specific, obviously, but how does it play out? Do we score 2 and then concede and then hang on, or do we,
We're gonna go 1-0 down and bang 2.
Oh, okay. You just want to kill me in August.
Are we still talking about porn, or are we talking about the Newcastle game?
We're talking about Areola. Do we see Areola?
No, not the first game.
That's unfortunate. It takes usually 3 games before you see some Areola.
You'll see one if we come back from 1-0 down.
In my experience, you need like 3 outings before you get to Areola. But anyway, yeah.
Different experiences to me then, Lee.
I don't have much experience. That's the other thing, by the way. I don't have much experience. So, yeah. Anyway, all right. So you think we're okay? 2-1. I would take that in an absolute heartbeat. James, what do you think?
Tough game, mate. It's a tough game.
He agrees with me. Anyway.
Well, we don't win at Newcastle. That's the problem. Like, I think we've won there once in the last 5-6 years.
Right.
And that was Anderson's first season. I think we won there 3-0.
Chicharito, 2 and Anderson.
I think this is a tough one, mate. To start off with, we lost to them last year. We don't win up there. Even though the top confidence is higher, I'll take a point right now.
Yeah,
but
I will too.
I think it's a tough game to start off with. So I'm going to say I draw 1-1.
That's reasonable. Charlie boy, what do you think?
I don't know. What do you say? I think we're going to go ahead and try to bang him in. We just got to worry about their counterattack with Mr. Headband, and they still got Almiron, right?
Yeah.
And
they still have Almiron, yes.
And Column, you know what I mean? These guys always give us a little problem, but I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to give it to the boys. Nobody knows left or right, so why not say 3-1? 3-1 to the guys. We're going to put Newcastle in a spliff. Yep. Newcastle K, baby. We're throwing up the woo. Throwing up that WHU. Ain't no Geordies around here, you heard? Split situation.
That's good.
Log on to that.
Because I can't understand a word they're saying. Yeah, Kenner's not a word they're saying. All right, Tuam, if you can hold your invective under control for 2 minutes.
Yes, I shall talk. Nearly. Yeah, I'm going to be the downer of the group. I'm 2 on Newcastle. Just can't see, especially if fans back in the first game, it's going to mean a lot to them. They always cause problems. We never win up there. I know we're raring to go, and not necessarily I think we'll play badly. I just cannot see us winning up there. Like I said, I think their fans are going to be highly up for it. Obviously, they're 50,000 in there at St James's, and I don't necessarily think we'll struggle. I just think that having the fans back for the first game for every team, I think obviously last season we saw more away wins than home wins. I think for the first time in Premier League history, and I think this year, this opening weekend, it wouldn't shock me if the majority, unless it's like Brentford versus Arsenal and
big distraction game for me.
Yeah. I just think that it's. I think we're going to struggle. I really do. So I'm gonna say 2-1. I think Callum Wilson's gonna get one, and we're gonna struggle again up there. But I think the week after at Southampton or wherever it is, I think that we'll be back on it. So yeah, I'm being down.
I worry a lot about how we're going to perform in front of fans. I do. I our fans, everybody else's fans.
That's my boy.
You're gonna bun them up.
I think I genuinely think that part of our success last season was down to the fact that we played in empty grounds, home and away both. And I'm not joking about this. I hate to say
yes,
it.
Rebecca.
No, Rebecca. James is here, mate. You know what I mean? Jay Woods, he's got sense. You know what I mean?
That's true. I think we did awfully well in these controlled environments where there were no fans, away or home. I actually think it helped us a lot. I'm with Tom on this. I think it's going to be a big struggle to go to one of the toughest places for us to play season in and season out with fans in the ground. I believe enough in our team and in our manager and in the fact that we're healthy to start the season that I think we can nick a draw. And I'm going to go with Rebecca on this. I think it's going to be 2-2. I think we're going to see goals. I do. I think we're going to see goals. I think we're going to see mistakes. I think it's going to be actually a pretty entertaining match, to be honest. But I don't think we win this one. I think if we're out with a draw, I'll actually be really happy with that. I hate to say that, but it's true. I think it's going to be 2-2. Of course,
cheeky Desmond.
We don't. Yeah,
that was class.
Yes, that's really good, actually. I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah, we don't know anything, but we don't know starting 11. We don't know anything obviously yet. But Alan Keyes, yeah, there he is. Yeah,
I got this earlier, and I thought I had this in my drawer earlier, and I opened it and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, Lee!"
So
I actually get to see you tonight.
So let me just say this: I'm trying to commit to myself to get these Sunday night things, which I gotta say this one's gone really well, and we've had a good number of viewers, and people in the chat room. So I appreciate everybody being here because we're gonna try to do this on Sunday afternoons as opposed to Wednesday nights, and see how it goes. Well, right, exactly. See how it goes. I'm hoping for this as well. I just don't know. Hernandez. Well, that tells you how long ago it was. Felipe Anderson was still a footballer last time we won at Newcastle, so that's been a long time ago. So I have tried to commit to like being done within 2 hours on these things, so we don't go for 3, 4, 5 hours, whatever. Because
the spirit of Charlie Walsh is disappointed in you right now.
Starting this early, it could go on for a very long time.
Charlie Walsh is currently twitching in his sleep that it's not gone past 2.5 hours.
Well, no, he's having a snack because I think that's mostly what he does.
It's about that time. He's snacking.
He ain't sleeping.
He's not sleeping. He's snacking. No, listen. No, I'm sorry. I'm not. I'm not going to leave him alone. Well, I will leave him alone because I don't like him. I don't want to talk about him anymore. Yes, this is what will happen. We need a striker badly. What we'll get is a bad striker. That is actually true. That's the way it's gone for the last however many years. So we have let's have 10 minutes before I'm going to say we've already done the predictions. We've done all this other stuff.
All right, Lee, I've got this to play.
What is that?
Resident Evil 8 on the PS5. We secured a PS5. I secured the bag a few weeks ago.
How'd you get a PS5? How'd you get a PS5?
There it is. The beautiful. I'll do what Charlie Walsh did. I'll still do what Charlie Walsh did when he got his. How did I get it?
Yeah.
I know people.
You broke in somebody's flat with that Allen key. You got it.
I tell you, I know some shady.
He stole it from Alan Keyes.
I know some shady Italians that did some business.
I was going to say it's the Italians. The Italians had something to do with it, I'm sure. Yeah. Did you sneak into one of their meetings? You snuck into one of their meetings where they all meet with each other?
Yeah, I had to put a bandana on and look like Charlie to get in there because if I rocked up like this, I don't think they believe me.
Slavs and Italians, most loyal people on the earth.
Is that true? No, let me ask you this, Lucas. Are Bulgarians Slavs?
I know Hungarian. I don't know. Hungarians are not.
Hungarians are not. Hungarians are their own thing. They're
Bulgarian. I would say no. I would guess no.
What are they if they're not Slavs? I don't know. I have no idea.
Bulgarians.
Because I have a friend from Bulgaria. I have a friend from Bulgaria, and the dude is like loyal to an absolute fault. He's a great guy. He's a great friend. I saw him not that long ago. He came up here not that long
Isn't
ago.
Bulgaria like kind of like Russianish?
It is. Yeah, it is. It's that
A big geography buff.
It's like
European
on
country.
the on the Black Sea, and if you go across the Black Sea, you go to Istanbul. But it's
Corruption.
Lost me.
so yeah. So
To
it's,
swerve away from the Bulgarian talk, right, I just want to ask you this, right?
yes.
What is your expectations, and what would you be happy with West Ham this season in regards of where we finish?
Well, I'm just wondering, has anybody else made non-refundable airline reservations for Seville in May? Anybody else do that
They are Slavs. I've just checked.
for the European for the Europa Cup final? Anybody else?
More the
do that?
merrier.
No, I haven't done it, but have you done it? So I just wondering. Yeah. Oh, what is this? What is this? What is this?
Oh
What is
yes.
this invasion? The boys.
Double-
the boys are
Double
here.
trouble.
The boys are here.
The
Look at
boys
them.
are
Look
taking
at
over. We're gonna
this.
send
Where are
Lee
these
out
boys?
on
Where are
loan.
these?
to
There you
Cardiff.
go. There you go. There you go. My boys
Not
are
one
here.
but two.
Lee's out. We're gonna send you
All
out
right.
on loan.
You giving them some more
Wait,
drugs,
wait,
Lee?
wait, wait. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. All right.
Lee, have you given them more drugs to get them to sleep?
West Ham, Newcastle versus West Ham this weekend. Who's going to win and what's the score?
Huh?
So it's Newcastle versus West Ham this weekend.
You put noise cancelling headphones on, Lee. He doesn't know.
What?
Do you not hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, Newcastle versus West Ham on Sunday.
Yeah.
Next Sunday.
Look at it.
Who's going to win and what's the score?
Look at me, child. I will beat
West
you
Ham
later.
10-0.
Boss, get in.
Bush.
Bing bang boosh bosh.
I like
Look at
it.
it. Look at it.
West Ham 10-0.
Bam. Double digits. Put that in your pipe. And
That's
smoke
20-0.
Newcastle.
There you go.
Like
There you go.
that with a cherry match.
There you go. That's you've heard
Quickly,
it
go
now.
pump them full of drugs to get them off to sleep again.
I was about to ask him, does your dad make good sandwiches? Because you all know, I gotta go. Because that's the thing. I gotta go, guys. I gotta make the kids sandwiches.
You
I
know
don't know
what?
if these are even good. They're gonna be like, no, they are trash.
I'm gonna have
they don't
to
even
start
take the
doing
crust
that.
off.
No, they're going back to school in like 3 weeks. So I got to start making sandwiches again. Yeah, on Sundays too. I got to start making sandwiches. I'll
They
do all that
trade-
stuff.
They trade those sandwiches at lunchtime. They trade them.
So that was Isaac, who is 10, and Andrew, who is 8, and they are definitely West Ham supporters. And now they don't sell that many games. They know what's going on.
I would say no. I have not booked for Seville. I think it's really annoying because a lot of us are probably going to, especially in this country, depending on what we get in the group stages, because of the red list countries and where you quarantine and where you don't quarantine. And I still think every group stage is riddled with at least one Russian / 1,000 miles away across right to nearly another
there's
continent.
always.
There will be some that go and do it, and
yeah.
I respect them for that. And there will probably a back way of getting in there without quarantining. And good luck to them if they do. But I think we'll be a bit like, for instance, for us, I think like Turkey's on the red list, but like there's an amber list going on, and there's But if you're in Europe, you can travel there. But if you come to here, you have to quarantine. I don't know what's going on. If the restrictions are lifted,
Tom, what would you be happy with this year in regards of West Ham, though, whenever they finish?
I think bearing in mind the circumstances, I think if anywhere between 8th and 10th, I think will be a good season for us. Genuinely, if you take into consideration all the things, as long as we just maybe not the Europa League, because obviously realistically we all love to win it, but we know it's not going to happen. If we can get to the knockout stages of just the first round, so the round of 32, and we can get there and have like the excitement of potentially going to penalties or something like that would be special for me. But especially because it's Noble's last season, forget about where we finish in the league so much and try and go for the FA Cup. I think that's, if anything, top 10. I'm talking 8th to 10th.
Get the Mana Trophy. I agree.
FA Cup.
Totally agree. Yep.
And hopefully come second potentially in the group or something. And that way it would be exciting, because if we finish second in the group, we would face one of the Champions League teams coming down potentially as well. it could be a massive tie, and it would be fun.
If
for
we
fans.
finish third in the group, we end up in the conference.
Do we?
Does it work that way? Like
Yeah.
with Champions League, where you drop down?
Basically, if we finish third in the group, the only way we don't get European football is if we finish fourth. We finish third, we drop into the conference.
Imagine Spurs in the round of 64.
I was going to
to
say it could happen. Tom, I'm with you. I think for me, what I'd like to see is top 10 in the Premier League, because I think 6 was a big accomplishment last season.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we could do it again, especially if we don't invest in the squad. I'd like to see top 10 in the Premier League, and I would like to see round of 16. I'd like to see us get to not the quarterfinals,
that's a while. That's like 2 stages on from the group stage. That's
yeah.
You're asking a lot there, Lee.
I am asking a lot. But what I'm saying is, I would actually. I know this is kind of backwards, but personally, I'd love for us to go for it in Europe more than in the Premier League. I'd like for the Premier League for us to be, stable. But I say we don't get into Europe all that often. Let's go for it.
Of course, but I think the more modern fan wants the higher position in the Premier League, whereas the older you get, the more want the FA Cup and
absolutely, you're right. I would rather win the FA Cup than anything, really.
Any trophy,
realistically.
Any trophy, even the League Cup, the League Cup, like the Carabao Cup.
Just Mark Noble lifting a trophy. Come on, Mark Noble lifting a trophy after all these years. He needs it. Bond's got his trophies. Brooking got his trophies. Bobby Moore, the real legends. If Mark Noble, he needs that trophy.
Jamel Baptiste got his trophy. Mark Noble.
Jamel Baptiste, he lifted the Betway Cup, and after that, he might as well just quit football.
That was great banter, by the way.
I mean, it was pretty funny. I don't know what Lucas and Charlie. What do you guys think expectation wise?
Charlie, you can go first.
Oh, he puts it on me. Say this. What would I be like okay with, or what am I like set? What do I want?
I'm more like what would you be okay with? Yeah, more like what would you be okay with? Because we all want to win all the trophies. What's your sort of minimum level of service?
From the season we had last year, I'll say just like after, somewhere between 8th, 10th. You know what I mean? But if we don't add no guys, listen, we got to play in 2 leagues. If we don't add nobody, we ain't going to have a lot of depth. And if an injury happens and we got to deal with both of these leagues, I'd be okay with 8th or 10th and a real serious push at Europa, as well as sign 3 or 4 guys. I want like 4 or 5. But if you get 3 solid in before the thing ends, what's it end? At the end of this month? Because it don't end like seasons before, like when the season starts.
Yep.
So we get a little bit of extra time.
Yep.
Listen, we need extra guys if we're going to make a serious run for Europa. And if they don't do it, then I'm not expecting a serious run. Because then we'd be relying on straight up youth guys as the second team. I think to give other guys a rest.
I think the carbon copy for us is realistically look at what Wolves did. The other season they got into Europa League. They went far enough in the Europa League. They didn't really have the best Premier League finish, but the fans all got to go around Europe, had the fun, had the excitement of going far in the competition.
Yeah.
And do you know what?
And I want to go to Spain because I got a whole sexy white outfit. This white hat, white shirt, white shoes, the whole 9. Listen, I'm gonna be out there lit. I'm gonna get the nice reddish wine spilt all over myself.
I want to make a trip to Europe to see us play in Europa League. I really do. The best way for that to happen is if we get out of the group stages, because the group stages are all in 2021. And frankly, if I'm making a trip, it's probably not going to be this year.
You'll have more of a chance getting to those countries than potentially some of us will because of
I know
restrictions.
I will. No, it's true. I would like to get my boys vaccinated if possible because they are too young at the moment, and so it would be great if the vaccine were available for them. But you know what? Beyond all that, forgetting all that, just financially and in terms of vacation time and everything else, it works a lot better for me to carry over into 2022. That's why I'd like to see us get up into those, knockout stages and get up into the spring, and then that would be magnificent to see West Ham play away at anywhere really.
I'm worried they're going to look at my little vaccine paper or whatever and be like, oh, we don't acknowledge this. This ain't from Spain. This ain't from UK. You know what I mean?
I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how
they turn you away at the gate. You got your ticket. You're ready to go watch some Europa. And they say, oh, lo siento, Lee. You gotta go back to the hotel. You can't come in. Sorry.
I don't know. You know what? We'll have to see where we are, right? I mean, I just don't know where we're going to be. Lucas, what would you like to see from this season? I think you're the only one who hasn't answered.
My minimum, what would make me happy, I would say 12th in the league, knockout stages of Europa, and then just one really, really good dedicated cup run would be nice.
In all honesty, I could care less about the league position this year. As long as we stay up and it's not woeful.
I'm kind of with you there, Tom.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Just need to survive.
As long as it's not a relegation battle, because I don't want any more of those. If we finish,
but I think we've got a strong enough squad not to be in that position. Like I said, I think it's exactly like Wolves were, where they had a strong enough squad, but they finished 12th, 13th. And again, the fans didn't care because they got to experience the European football. And let me tell you, that first season in London Stadium, I was there for the home games against Astra Gugu and against MK Domžale. And the atmosphere was just, there's nothing like it. European, the fact the fans get to come back in for those European nights as well is something absolute. And I will be there hopefully for the home games. Obviously, I do have my season ticket as well. So hopefully I'll be there for the home games because that atmosphere will be like nothing else, And I think that for us will be part of the reason why we qualify, because I think we'll have that atmosphere to keep the players and push them through in those.
When do we find out the drawing?
28th of August. Or 27th, isn't it? Yeah.
Before the end of the month, yeah. That's
Oh,
going to be.
close.
I
3 weeks exactly.
The whole Europa League thing, I can't even describe
It's
how much I'm
dreamland.
looking forward to this. Right? I mean, we're going to play on weekday afternoons, Eastern time, and we're going to play. There's, we're going to get at least
even weekday mornings because we could have like 5 o'clock games or lunchtime games.
That's
Just
true.
2 sets. Yeah.
We're going to get at least one like notable club in our group, right? I feel as though we will.
Because we're even though we're the third seed, so we will be put in with at least one of
that's
the
what
big
I'm saying.
boys.
We're gonna get like a
Betis or a Roma or somebody like
right,
that.
a Roma or somebody you've heard of, somebody you care
Napoli
about.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get somebody like that, that's gonna be amazing, just amazing. And I still think the continent of Europe is not ready for West Ham fans, so I hope that we're able to travel because the continent has no idea, absolutely no idea what's going to hit them.
The last preseason game in Germany did not go very well.
Well, I mean that depends on how you look at it.
No, I meant for like the German police, it didn't go very well.
Oh well,
that was against Newcastle actually in Germany, and
that was against Newcastle in Germany.
Yeah, it didn't end so well.
I don't know if I remember that.
This is we're talking a while ago now.
Okay, I was gonna say I was vague. Yeah, it's vague. All right, well listen, this Sunday night thing seems to work pretty well. We've been going for a couple hours, so I think I feel good about where we are. Lucas, you're still in Maryland, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're repping the Berg today, looking good, repping Pittsburgh. I love the fact they wear the same colors. All their franchises wear the same colors. I think that's fantastic.
Yellow and black.
Yellow and black always looks good. Lucas in Maryland. James, our proper Cockney in East London. Charlie Boy, where are you again, Charlie? No, I'm only joking. Charlie Boy in my former home.
I'm in Idaho, guys.
I thought he was going to bust out a Cockney accent and make he was from Plastars, I think. Do you know what I mean?
I lived in Brooklyn for about a year, so Charlie and I we're very tight. I know all about Brooklyn, of course. And where do you actually live, Tom? Are you a?
I'm the fake Londoner. Originally Southend, which I know a lot of West Ham fans have an issue with because we all migrated out into Essex. But originally from Southend and moved up to Yorkshire, to Bonnie, Yorkshire, about 20 years ago. I came with my mum and I live in East Yorkshire, in between Hull and York, in a beautiful town called Pocklington. So Pocklington, yes, right in the middle of nowhere.
Peter Pocklington was the owner of the Edmonton Oilers for a long time. Hockey.
No correlation in this part of the world. Mate.
Peter Pocklington, yeah, and he.
Wait till I rock up there, Tom, and make the neighbors nervous.
So Peter Pocklington owned the Oilers, and he, when you win the Stanley Cup, you get your name on it. They engrave your name on it. It's a very cool tradition. They engrave.
Hey, there you go. Somebody in the chat's got it. Anywhere near Beverly, 10 minutes down the road from me.
So, there you go.
Famous racecourse, Beverly Racecourse.
Okay, I'm sure you know Beverly well.
I do.
We have a Beverly in Mass as well.
Rebecca can confirm because she has visited here. It is a very, very nice part of the world. It's just very secluded. It's not like the hustle.
Do you
and
miss
bustle
here
of
though, Tom? Do you miss London?
I mean, for me, it's not London specifically. Even though most of my family are from London, East. Like my granddad's from Dagenham, and they all migrated out to Essex. And my mum's from Romford, which I think you couldn't really class as London anymore, or you do now. And my nan's from Ilford, so like that area of London. But I do miss, in a way, Southend and that. But then because I've lived up here for so long, I've lived in Leeds, I've lived in Sheffield. It's different being up here than it is down there. But where I am now, in the middle of nowhere, I get to play cricket every Saturday. In the middle of nowhere with fields and everything. Like Adam Frankel, he lived in Hull, which is near to here, and he came through and he's used to it up here, and it's nice. It's just not like the city vibe, basically. If I had a chance to move back to the city, I would, but it's I don't know where you could say in the middle of nowhere in America to compare it to.
Oh, you have middle of nowhere like you've never seen, honestly.
But it's quite pretty, but in the middle of nowhere.
Omaha, Nebraska.
I was going to say we have middle of nowhere where we don't even know if anybody lives there or not. There's no way to know. I mean, the Oklahoma Panhandle, who knows? Nobody's ever been there. So
there you go, Rebecca. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Information.
Yeah. Well, isn't that? And you know what, Rebecca? When you're there, it's just a little more beautiful.
It's beautiful in Dagenham and all. Yeah, I mean, I'm 5 minutes from the training ground, so I mean, I'm the closest from the lot.
It sounds like a bad neighborhood if you're close to our training ground. That's like some.
I know, mate.
Some condemned buildings around you there.
It's a rough part of the ends, mate. That's
can confirm though that the standard of people and looks wise did drop off significantly when Adam and Rebecca came round, but I won't blame them for that. I won't blame them.
Well, all West Ham fans are beautiful, right? That's
love and peace, Lee. All West Ham fans are beautiful, man.
I'm gonna give you some love and peace. I am. I'll give you some Freedom Rock. All right, I'll give you some. Yeah, because it's been
Freedom Rock, man.
It's been a tumultuous show. Let's be honest.
Lee has the look of a man that has a nice tie-dye shirt collection.
I don't. You know what? I don't have a single one. I don't because all my shirts are West Ham United shirts.
I literally have a tie-dye Grateful Dead shirt right next to me.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
But that's the thing, though, Charlie. They're not tie-dye now, but when he's out there smoking weed, every shirt looks tie-dye to Lee.
All my shirts are either West Ham shirts, TCU shirts, or shirts about being a dad, like a father. That's the only shirts I have. So that's all I own. That's where I spend all my money. All right. Well, listen, everybody who's in the chat room, everybody who was on tonight, thank you. We will hopefully be talking in a week from now.
Lebowski vibes. The dude.
It ties the whole room together.
Lebowski, yep, that's his new name, Lebowski.
We'll hopefully be talking next week about a fantastic West Ham victory up in Newcastle. Until then,
Shut up,
thanks
Donnie.
for being here. And these guys could just keep talking after you sign off. Come on, you Irish.
Newcastle Kate.